604, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing, getting ready to knock out a Monday show for you. A little bit of all over the place today. We got Franz in for Legally Served coming up about 20 minutes from right now. We got Medical Monday talking opioid awareness. We're previewing LegisGator. We'll, of course, cover everything under the sun with Moon and a whole lot more as the show wears on. We are starting off at 79 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we're broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. Let's go ahead and get started with top stories and trending. At the end of next month, crews will begin overlaying Lee Drive between Perkins Road and Highland Road. The overlay work is expected to take a few weeks to complete. Now, this overlay will provide much needed relief for drivers, but it is separate from the larger Lee Drive Move EBR project, which will bring some significant improvements and widening of the corridor. It's just that one is going to happen later. An 18-year-old girl died following a shooting near East Myrtle Avenue in Baker around 11:45 Friday night. Investigators said no motive has been established yet at this time. Funeral services for LSU baseball legend Skip Bertman will be held August 25th at the Maravich Assembly Center. Doors are going to open at 6 for a public service that begins at 7. Now, if you rewind the clock by a couple of hours, there will be a private gathering, or there will be private gatherings and services for friends, family, and former players that begins at 4:30. Zachary closed down their hot air balloon festival to investigate reports of shots fired on Saturday. However, police secured the scene, interviewed witnesses, conducted their investigation, and it turns out there were no shots fired. We've once again got a clean board in the tropics, y'all. Last week we were toying around with 3 different disturbances out in the Atlantic. None of them were really going to be a threat to Louisiana at all. We did see Tropical Storm Cristobal form. Then there were 2 other disturbances that could have joined forces to make Dolly the next named storm. However, both of those dissipated over the weekend.
Well, in a twist on Friday, Luigi Maggione pleaded guilty to federal stalking charges and admitted to shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Okay.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
I don't. They said it was a twist. I think he wears it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And
there's some legal posturing there. Long story made short, there's a belief that I can't be prosecuted in 2 different courts for the same crime, which is called double jeopardy.
Yeah.
So the idea was it was a tactical maneuver. So, hey, I'm going to plead over here to this lesser crime. So, and then file a motion to quash for double jeopardy in the state court so that I can't be prosecuted. 2 different sovereignties, however. You can, in fact, be prosecuted by the federal government and the state government. It's a very legally served point,
Yeah.
but I'm just letting you know.
No, I like it. Yeah.
I'm letting you all know that was the reason behind that maneuvering.
Okay, but what kind of attorney is that big of a dip to not know the difference?
The idea is that New York, the belief is that New York has stricter double jeopardy laws, and so it's a risky maneuver. It ain't, look, guys, this ain't a whodunit.
No,
right?
I know.
We know who did it.
So if it works, if the legal maneuver works, his attorney is a genius. If it doesn't work, well, I mean, yeah.
Interesting.
Handicap it for me.
Right.
Likelihood that it works. 2%? 0%?
1 in a million.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, the FBI, the 2025 crime numbers are out. At least the nationwide ones are, and violent crime is down across the country by more than 10%.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get state by state real soon. That's
what I've
got a couple of in fact, I've got an interview request out for as soon as this morning to talk about this if we can. The numbers are like super interesting because we're seeing it's a trend nationwide that everything's down. Whether you're talking about forgot to print that.
See, and I don't feel that way. I don't feel crime's down because of where we live, Louisiana. We know every time we have a story, Baton Rouge, it's just Yeah, I just
Okay, but it's not about what you feel.
I
It's about what's
know.
actually
Yes,
the numbers.
factual. Yes.
We talked about this while you were out. I think it was I think Wilton was in where we were talking about yeah, it was on Friday. Patty G was in. And that video of the fight outside the bar in downtown Baton Rouge, and people quote unquote don't feel safe. Downtown Baton Rouge is the safest place in the city. Like statistically speaking, downtown Baton Rouge is the safest place in the city. Yes, absolutely. But whether or not you feel safe, why are you giving me a sideways look? It's numerical. It's empirical. It's not a matter of opinion.
I've seen the videos.
That's okay. What videos have you seen?
It is like Fight Club down there, man.
Once or twice. And you're going to tell me it's not Fight Club outside of Bogies?
It is absolutely Fight Club outside of Tigerland's like
Fred's?
Tigerland's what I believe when I see that scene in Fight Club where it's like
I'm Lou. Yeah,
that's Tigerland to me.
I left the line. I left the word on that line, but by
Lord.
By the way, it's a bar fight. Why do you
Weeds are flying?
What? No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you worried about a bar fight? Cross the street. But like Brie Lynn's making a good point in that we can have all the numbers in front of us that we want to, but we're still not going to feel safe because of how it's perceived.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Like I live in Sherwood Forest. Okay. One of the safest subdivisions in the city. However, not long ago, Chris Nakamoto did an investigative report saying we had like 2,000 crimes a year. Not true. Not even close to true. But you can map out a grid to where you cross Flannery, you cross Florida, you cross Old Hammond. All of a sudden, numbers start to look pretty rough. Makes it look like we're Beirut.
Very true. Very true. On to some devastating news. And I had to look twice this morning, Brian. I said, what?
Yeah.
36-year-old actress Hayden Panettiere passed away. Details surrounding her death are not immediately available.
Can't imagine it will be either. It's going to be a minute before we know about that. 36 years old. So sad. Heroes and Nashville were her big ones.
I loved Nashville.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
She struggled, Brian. She publicly opened up. She even has a book out. I believe it came out last year, talking about her severe postpartum depression, alcoholism, substance abuse.
Yeah.
She gave up custody of her daughter many years ago so she can get her life together. And so she's openly struggled with this.
Okay.
I hate to hear.
Yeah.
Tragic news.
Yep. We're at 6:12 at Talk 107.3 FM at WBRP. Saints got their first preseason game in. More important than the final score was the potential quarterback battle for QB2. Going to talk about that in just a little bit. Before we take our break, though, do want to remind you, show's going to be on the road a lot this week. We're here today. We're here tomorrow. Franz is here today because we're on the road Wednesday. We're on the road Thursday. We're on the road Friday. That Thursday installment is going to be live from the Department of Insurance's annual conference. I can't wait for this, y'all. We're seeing rate reductions in auto. We're seeing rate reductions in homeowners insurance. We're seeing the movement in the right direction, finally affecting our bottom line, finally affecting our checking account and the premiums we pay. And it's an amazing thing. How do we keep our foot on that gas? And how do we see more? Maybe get, fleet vehicles in the mix here. And we're going to talk about all those things when we broadcast live from the Department of Insurance's annual conference on Thursday. Quick break. We're back right after this.
We need to do a segment. You and I need to do a downtown evening, and Brian and Franz go downtown in Baton Rouge.
I'm here for it.
Good morning, Facebook.
Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Renee.
Call now for free premium color upgrades. 800-770-5322. Call UCI Bath and Shower, the leader in bathroom remodeling. Be smart, safe, and stay a step ahead of the...
Every time I take the way home from Goodwood and I come up, what is it? What's the road that turns in a crescent? I always forget.
Not Harold's Ferry, Old Hammond?
Nope, it's
Goodwood?
Goodwood. Take a right on Terra, immediately take a left on our street. Wakefield. Hello.
Wakefield. Yeah.
Anytime I pass Wakefield and your car's outside and you're like, Your garage is up. I'm like, hey, Franz. I'll wait when I'm driving.
Shout out to Tara.
I know, right?
Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Alan, Christy. So,
He didn't curse in this. Yeah, he doesn't curse in this. Huh?
so
He does? Okay.
He has a gay slur.
Oh, okay.
He says you turned into a Hollywood Fanook.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that will get you in trouble.
You don't notice it though. That's
what I mean. I didn't hear it the first time.
Note to self. If you bet on preseason NFL football and your team is ahead in the third quarter, cash out the bet. Second note to self, don't bet on preseason football. Saints drop one 24-20 over the weekend to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lose their preseason opener. However, within that game, there were a whole lot of bright spots. Zach Wilson came out and made himself a case that he should be the backup quarterback behind Tyler Shuck. The former number 2 pick, who is entering his 6th season and has played 38 games overall, threw for 145 yards and a touchdown in his time on the field. Cut 19, please.
Use my time in the league to my advantage. Like, I'm still young, but I feel like I've been able to play in a lot of games and see a lot of different things. And so I feel like it's been able to slow down a little bit for me and be able to use that to my advantage and just see how good I can be. And then, at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens.
By the way, shout out to our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network for rounding up sound on that one. Meanwhile, Shuck's primary backup, Spencer Rattler, it's more the same with him. It's like he's almost there. He's almost always almost there. He only threw for 42 yards. He was sacked twice. He did lose a fumble. It's just not going to be. By the way, flipping around to the defensive side of the football, how about Michael Heldman? The former Central Michigan standout had 6 tackles on the day, 3 of them for a loss. He had 2 sacks as well. Says he was excited for Saturday's game after struggling in a joint practice on Thursday against the Jags.
Kept hunting. Whenever my opportunity was to get out on the field, just go hunt. And then I got there, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's cool to have those like first moments in the league. Like in the moment, you're just in a football game. And then when you're on the sidelines, you're like, wow, I'm in the NFL. Like it's super cool.
That is super cool, especially when you can put on a performance that's going to keep you in the NFL for a little bit longer. Saints head out west. They're leaving for California. Going to have a joint practice with the Cowboys in Oxnard, if I'm not mistaken. Then another joint practice with the Rams on Thursday. They'll finish the week by playing the Rams on Saturday. Of course, as always, that game will be on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, as the preseason wears on. Oh, and don't forget, we're going to have a slew of football right here on Talk 107.3 FM as the season gets here. Your home for Monday night and Thursday night football is going to be right here on Talk 107.3 FM all season long. In the meanwhile, over at LSU, it is all systems go for training camp on that front. Of course, we got to get all the way through the NFL preseason before the college football season kicks off as well. That's not until September 5th. All right, we've got just a minute before we hit the Fox Business Report. While we're walking up to the Fox Business Report, allow me to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. What you're going to find at Landmark Bank is a community bank, and that's exactly what you would have found for the last 100+ years, since 1897. They've been doing it this way at Landmark Bank. Now, they've grown into a few new communities over that time, but they've always remained true to that community spirit, remained true to being a difference maker within a community. Having someone across the table from you who is a decision maker, having someone across the table from you who has a better idea and a better understanding of where you want to be in life. You sit down, you talk it out. Where do you want to be? What are we doing today? We're saving, we're investing, we're borrowing, we're walking that HELOC route. What are we doing today? Fisher's opening his first savings account. What are we doing today? You could do that at Landmark Bank, landmarkbankla.com. There's no shortage of the tech end, to be sure. You miss out on nothing, but you gain everything by having a community bank at Landmark Bank. Does Fisher have a savings account yet?
Yes, college fund savings account.
We're behind the 8 ball.
The boy's stacked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he'll get tops. Maybe they'll be tops. I don't know.
I'm salty about tops. My daughter is studying accounting out of state.
So she can't get tops.
No, tops is only in Louisiana.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, that was a decision on her part to not go to in-state.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. I'm not salty
I'm assuming she got a scholarship. She's a smart girl.
At tops. I'm salty about tops.
She's a smart girl. I'm assuming
to walk through pre-K through 12. That's 14 years worth of private school tuition, and just say, you know what? Flush the college.
I'm assuming she got a scholarship.
She got a little bit of help.
Yeah,
not a full ride.
So I got to tell you, if my kid went to parochial private school for 12 years, which could happen, and has an opportunity to go to college for free, but instead gets into a couple $100,000 in debt to go to out-of-state college, I'm patting him on the butt saying, good luck, sir.
Yeah. Look,
life's about choices.
Yeah, I know.
I will give you an example.
Oh.
I'll give you an example.
Chris reminds me I got a story to say, but go ahead.
So I got into Loyola Law School and I got into LSU. And I wanted to live in New Orleans for 3 years. I'm not going to mince words about it. I thought that'd be a great way of and the tuition differential was huge. And I'm sitting in the financial admissions office at Loyola saying, hey, I really want to go to school here. I just need you guys to give me like a little bit of love. A little bit. Just give me a little sugar. Give me a little sprinkle. Their sprinkle wouldn't have, I would have been in so much debt had I gone to Loyola. So, yeah. I went to LSU Law School. Yeah. The flagship university.
You know who gives more love than they should? Tulane Law.
I would have taken Tulane money. I would. Can an out-of-state school waive tuition?
Yeah. All right, we got to start you off here. This is starting off on the unfortunate end. We're going to see delays start to back up pretty heavy real quick. We just had it reported, and we're already starting to see it. We got an accident in the roadway, I-12 westbound, in between the Amite River and O'Neill Lane exit. If I'm looking at the map right now, it is stacking up quickly around the Amite River, so I'm guessing the accident's closer to the river than it is to O'Neill. But coming in on 12 westbound, wow, it's stacking up by Range Avenue and then all the way up to the Amite River. Now, once you get past the accident, you're pretty clear right there for the rest of the drive in on 12. But if you're in Denham Springs, it's going to build up quick because this is about the time of morning that it does build up quick. So if you're in Denham Springs, either expect some more delays or maybe take Florida up to O'Neill to scooch around it, Florida up to Millerville to scooch around it before you head the rest of the way back downtown. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great, as does 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish. Now, never mind. Forget my whole Florida Boulevard at Old Hammond. Okay, forget that. There's a brand new crash on Florida Boulevard at Old Hammond. So if you were thinking about scooching around, that's just entered the mix. That would jam you up if you were to try to avoid that. There is now a second accident posted up on 12 as well, in between O'Neill and Sherwood. So y'all just decided to start this week playing bumper cars coming in from Livingston Parish. Do better. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. Be safe on the roads out there. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 173 Traffic Center. 624 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasted live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, there is your IT partner, so much more than an IT provider. I keep remembering back to when we had Jay Darden in. He was doing a speaking series over at the old Governor's Mansion, and I was doing my spot for 180 Pros, and he just shouted off. He's like, "Hey, can I step in?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "I'm a raving fan. I've been a customer of 180 Pros for some time now. Best thing ever." It's not just about making sure your network is maintained. It's not just about the cybersecurity, which they're top of their game on both of those fronts, but it's about the collaboration, making sure what you have is what you need, not just to exist, but to thrive, to grow. Learn more at 180pros.com or give them a call, 330-2200 for 180 Pros. It's time for Legally Served. Morning, Franz.
The pleasure is all mine.
I appreciate your
Monday,
flexibility.
legally served.
Yep. I appreciate your flexibility.
I hope that the people, the listeners, the viewers, I hope that they appreciate what's happening here.
Well, we haven't got anything in the content yet.
I know.
It's gonna get
So
sideways.
I just got done doing a 27-day long jury trial in Iberville. Shout out to the folks in Iberville. Yeah.
How is that?
So I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with I'm biased and I believe my client is innocent. That said, she got acquitted.
Why is the last check not cleared yet?
So
sorry, you
Damn,
knew that
man.
was coming.
So
No, because tell the story.
She got convicted of second-degree murder along with two other co-defendants, and she was acquitted. This was billed as a murder for hire racketeering case.
Wait, what?
She actually got acquitted
I haven't
of
read
the
much on this.
racketeering. So there was a not guilt. Bigger picture, second-degree murder carries life. So the racketeering not guilty, while personal internally is like, hey, I'll take that 3-pointer.
Sure.
Doesn't win the day. So we're gonna be filing some appeal and making some motions and challenging stuff. But I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I slept about. I missed. Look, I was supposed to go to the ball this weekend, to the Capitol.
Yeah, I
Gala,
saw pictures of that. I don't know what that is.
Best dress ball.
Oh,
whatever.
that's best dress.
It used to be best dress ball. I couldn't even muster the energy to put a tuxedo on. That's how exhausted. And you know how fancy and extra I like to be.
Yeah.
So I'm here once again for you, for the people. What are we talking about today?
I wanted to talk about your trial a little bit as much as we could. We can't talk about the trial itself, but
and Tupac.
Oh yeah, we want to talk
Want
about
to talk about Tupac.
Yes.
All eyes on me.
So we got 2 minutes till break. Can we just put a button on the whole trial experience? 27 days. Is that long?
That is highly irregular. And in fact, in 20 years of practicing law, I've never had a trial last more than 2 weeks.
Okay.
This one lasted 4. Multiple co-defendants. So there were 3 different people being charged with a crime. We started off with 500 potential jurors that had been subpoenaed. And we ended up from the first day, we lost about 300 of them due to challenges for cause and hardship.
Okay.
There are a lot of hardship issues that come in. By the way, if you've served jury duty, if you're out there and you've served, God bless you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service. One of the hardest things for me is the people that are clearly trying to get out of service, their duty, their obligation.
Yeah.
And I want to tell those people what I think about them, but of course I can't do that because it's you're trying to pick other jurors and you don't want people to think that you're a bad dude or anything. But if there's one part about the jury process that I hate, it's look, I get that you don't want to serve, but like intentionally getting out of it is just, to me, like, think about what you would feel like if you were accused of a crime,
right?
Whether you did it or not. And basically, wouldn't you want people that are willing to serve, that do their duty, versus the people that will find any excuse under the sun to not serve?
Yeah.
Like, be a man, serve your duty.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I think it's an underrated opportunity, especially because I've been dismissed.
People used to be different.
Oh,
Men, women used to be different.
Well, that's our.
I know.
That's
I'm just
coming up.
I'm just I'm feathering it.
Yeah, we're gonna have our Moral Dilemma Monday coming up. Get your nose job ready. Coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Right now, though, we got a break for we get news, traffic, and weather. Okay, so we got 20 seconds left. I wanted to get into more of the experience, but
sure.
we'll push pause on that for right now because you got appeals coming and whatnot. We'll push pause on that for right now. When we come back, we've got a sentence to talk about and a trial to talk about that's 30 years in the making. 30 years in the making. Here comes news on Talk 107.3 FM. Okay.
So
that's the wrong pot. There you go.
I will tell you, my client ended up testifying.
Oh,
which doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
I actually did the direct examination of her. I thought she did well. She was cross-examined by District Attorney Clayton, look, Tony Clayton and his crew, his staff, they did an outstanding job. I can play in the gladiatorial arena and at the end of it look and objectively say, hey, Wolf wants to know, are you allowed to say be a man on the air? Well, I just did, Wolf.
So we'll stick around till 6:50. You're going to hear a lot more of that. Okay. You went to Texas State Brazil.
I did.
How was your experience? Anybody get injured?
Number one, I just did the salad bar. I know.
Lame.
I know. So understand, I slept as someone who appreciates sleep.
Yeah.
I slept Friday night when I got home, Saturday, most of Saturday, and a good portion of Sunday. I slept. I've not gotten that much continuous sleep. Like, it was a drunk amount of sleep I got. We did family dinner.
Mm-hmm.
One, because I hadn't seen these people in a minute, and two, because it's Texas State Brazil. It was a little disappointing. The service was a little off.
Thank you.
The service was off. So for what you're paying at Texas State Brazil, I want the girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
Right. I want attention. I want constantly having my water refilled and all that. They're understaffed.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently something had happened. So the food, the salad bar was good. I didn't hear any complaints about the rest of the food. So what's up?
The food's still fine. So let's rewind the clock back to late May. Took the family minus Carrie because she was at school, plus young Jacobian, Jacob, my daughter's boyfriend. We went to Texas State Brazil for Abby's birthday, and he's holding the tongs, and his index finger is extended, and the guy with the sword cuts his finger open.
Do you get a free meal out of that?
You get jack shit out of that.
Are you kidding me?
I got nothing. And I had to
a trip to the emergency room.
They brought us a Band-Aid after about 20 minutes. My boy left a trail of blood all the way to the bathroom. Just drip, 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 drip.
Okay.
My God.
Hold on. Here, could I see that happening? Yes.
Yes.
I think you get the comp meal at that point.
You need to get the whole damn table comped at that point.
Like
I could give you a death by chocolate cake.
What did the manager
gave us death by sword almost.
So the manager offered you a dessert?
No. I was like up his ass about do we get what is the protocol here? He says, well, you would have to go through corporate to get any kind of a discount. And I'm like, so you're asking me to sue you? Basically, at this point, you want me to get litigious. Dick, how do you if that happens in a real restaurant, then someone's coming over and apologizing profusely, more profusely than he was bleeding.
So my thing is this. I understand that the manager may have limited authority in that situation. If you get your finger cut at the Borghardt law firm, you're getting a free meal. Just saying.
We got a piece of chocolate cake.
It's good chocolate cake.
I cannot believe they did that to me. Not even I'm so sorry, nothing.
And Jacob's such a good kid. He just, shrugged it off. He didn't. And the guy comes around because we were only about half done eating, The guy comes back around. He's like, "Do you want more?" And he's like, "No, I don't want more." And I'm like,
Did he need
"No, you pretty much ended his meal when you cut him open."
Did he need stitches, or
No.
was it just a?
No, it was.
I mean, it's salty, seasonally salted, so the knife was like salty and stingy.
Yeah. So the cut was a lot less, but the blood comes out quick. So
got a bleeder.
yeah, I mean,
Y'all.
So yeah, I'm
You're not gonna
Texas Day. No, I'm done with them. I will drive to Houston or New Orleans to go to a Fogo de Chao because it's the same concept, but better service. That was dookie, man. That was dookie. Yeah. Well,
Understaffed. That would be the term I would use.
Well,
understaffed.
there's
At one point, we had a stack of dirty plates, and
Yeah.
we were in. To be fair, we were in the room by ourselves. Like there just wasn't anybody else in the table in that room. And I looked at the waitress and I said, "Do you mind if I put these dirty plates on that tray over there, which was the dirty plate tray?" And she goes, "I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't mind that at all." I was looking for her to say,
let me get that for you, sir.
I was looking for her. No, which I still would have been willing to do. It was one of those situations where, people are using the plates. It's getting to where we didn't have room. And yeah. I didn't realize we were going to be having a hate festival on Texas Day.
Well, and you know how buttoned up I am when it comes to insulting restaurants because, like, service is tough. Everyone has a bad night. I hate when people rip on like people rip on McDonald's because it's cheap. It's cheap and easy to rip on McDonald's, but like, McDonald's shouldn't be open the way the service industry is right now. They cannot keep people staffed.
Brian's
But if you're charging people $250 for your family of 5 to sit down, and then you chop his finger off.
Brian's like, I didn't realize I was eating at Golden Corral, y'all.
Seriously.
Don't be hating on Golden Corral.
Well, Golden Corral knows what it is. They're not hitting you up for $250 plus no wine. I'm not even in the chat, so I haven't opened it yet. By the way, if you're not following us on Facebook Live, you're missing a big piece of the show, especially when Franz is in. That took a turn. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of ground to cover on this morning's Legally Served. Do you want to go with Tupac next, or are you going with Stanka?
Whatever you want to go with.
I kind of want to go with Stanka real quick.
Go for it. Set it up.
About 3 years ago, this poor guy from Georgia, a Georgia businessman, Georgia business, Nathan Millard is his name. He went missing in Baton Rouge and then turned up a little bit later on, rolled up in a carpet or a rug or something after an overdose and a night of just absolute debauchery. Part of that night was including his own personal concierge, Derek Perkins, who's known as Stanka. Stanka was sentenced to 18 years in prison for connection with multiple charges, including the disposal, the taquitoing of
taquitoing? I mean, I hear you.
Okay, so
do you feel like it was the taquitoing, or do you feel like it was being the personal concierge, or
so? I realize I'm making light of this and all, but this is to me a different story than I perceive this story differently than a lot of folks. Okay,
tell me.
This guy obviously had a lot going on in his mind. Maybe to the point of,
could we say
may have been dealing with a lot of other things.
Could we say with a straight face, this guy found what he was looking for?
Yes, that's exactly where I'm going with this. Is he had a night where he wanted to get blasted, and I mean blasted to the point of oblivion.
Yeah,
and there's a very, very fine line between the point of oblivion and death. And somewhere along the way, he meets Stanka and says, "I want a whole lot of blow and white hookers," and Stanka provided. Now that went.
It was a contractual agreement between the parties.
I'm sure verbal.
More immoral, but yeah.
I'm sure verbal, but
so that
he gets sentenced to 18 years in prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there were, like I said, a stack of charges along the way. But comparatively speaking, does that match up? Is that the right call?
Is he the worst of the worst guy?
Do
we need to be putting him away for close to 20 years?
If you back up, Probably. Because it's I
ain't hating on Stanka. I'm just saying, Perkins. Look, to me, this is an example of yes, he committed a crime.
Mhm.
Yes, drug overdosing, disposal of bodies, all that stuff, serious crime.
Yes.
However, that kind of crime is distinctly different from I'm going to get out of my car with a gun and shoot somebody on College Drive.
Right. But odds are he has provided the service for more than just Nathan Millar.
I think if your position is this is a bad drug dealer that needs to be put away so that this doesn't happen to anybody else, there are other stankas in this world.
Right.
And there are where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And it's to me, I don't know that 18. Look, if it's under the old law, depending on the guy's record, he's not doing 18 flat years.
Okay.
But it's still, that feels like a weird 18's a weird number. It's an even number, but it's not like 20 years or 10 years. It's
Right.
just, or 15 years. It's a weird, distinct number. That said, is that where we want to be? Is that the person we want to be filling up the jail with? Is that the person that we want to be wasting what little financial resources we have?
Well, that's where I will come back around and say probably.
Yeah. I mean,
the guy's running drugs and women.
The state has
so-
an obligation to prosecute. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they were inappropriate for prosecuting this dude. This guy broke the law. However,
he broke a number of laws.
correct.
So, but like if this had been, and there are
Do you think it?
way too many times where the sentence is way too light.
Let's
This
say-
is probably appropriate, but comparatively speaking,
Give me a hypo.
yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hypo. Perkins calls the police after the overdose and says, "Yo, I was being a provider and concierge to this dude.
Yeah.
Stuff went south. He's dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't hide the body."
Yeah. He makes the Bradley Cooper phone call in The Hangover.
Okay. What happens to him at that point? He still gets some time,
Probably.
but maybe not 18.
Well, and I guess the most egregious part of this, and I he rode around with the dude wrapped up in a rug for a couple of days.
I feel like that was him getting punished right there for that.
Well, it might be where the nickname Stanka comes from, because that couldn't have smelled good. But like, he rode around with a couple of days before disposing
obstruction
of
of
the body.
justice,
That's
right?
yeah.
It's not what we normally think of as murder, right? It is.
Because that's just it. He didn't murder the guy.
If you look at me, if Brian Haldane looks at me, folks, and says, "Hey, Franz, I want to get my lips wet. I want to do a little PCP," and I provide Brian some PCP, maybe some angel dust in there, and Brian overdoses.
Are these still drugs, or is this like Miami Vice type stuff?
Trading day.
Okay.
So in Brian overdoses, I can absolutely be charged with murder
Oh yeah.
for that overdose.
Yeah.
Let's say Brian's like, I've never done fentanyl before. I want to ride the fentanyl.
A couple legislative sessions ago, Representative John Stefanski passed a bill, and AG Liz Merle has used it to the hilt to make sure that if you're selling fentanyl, you're selling poison. You're selling it as a murder weapon.
Right. So my point is, I don't have a problem with this dude getting prosecuted. Here's the thing. We know right now there is a lawsuit with the district attorney's office and the parish
Mhm.
because there's not enough gas in the fuel tank.
Right.
The DA's office, our DA's office, which is tasked with prosecuting those charged with crimes in our parish, is grossly underfunded.
Completely. Right. Yes.
Right. So if you're doing triage prosecution, is this the one? I mean, yes and no.
So I'm in a weird spot because I'm on the side of yes, but at the
Right.
same time, though, comparatively speaking, I don't feel others stack up to this level of verdict. I'm just saying, can we use Stanka as the model to put other people away?
I think that it's different if he's forcing a child to use these drugs. A grown man, a grown human being who's looking for what he found. And I don't mean to any of his family, loved ones, or friends. I'm sorry. I don't mean that as bad as it sounds. But I've used that phrase.
Oh, no, there but for the grace of God. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody walks a line.
Yeah, I use that phrase. He found what he was looking for, because if it wasn't Perkins who sold him those drugs,
Mhm.
he's going to find those drugs, guys.
Well, yeah.
He was looking for an experience. He was looking for an oblivion. Maybe not death, but he was looking for something, and he found it.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, and again, not judging him at all, because like life can throw a lot at you. You can carry the weight of the world with
stuff gets repugnant sometimes, dude.
you. Oh, I'm hearing you. So, All right, we got 2 minutes till break. So
18 years.
yeah, 18 years.
It's like a Kanye's lyric. So under the old law,
Mhm.
depending on what his record is, he'll do about half of that.
Okay.
So 9, maybe maybe less. And look, we do need to be tough on drug dealers, but that is something that we need.
1,000%.
We do.
In these last 2 minutes, can we do, because we're going to do Moral Dilemma Monday on the back end.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Starting today in Las Vegas, there will be a trial. 63-year-old Dwayne Keffy D. Davis will be tried for Tupac's killing. How do you start to unpack all this with everything there's been documentaries on documentaries about different people who aren't this guy.
So from what I understand, the best part about this is they're not using eyewitness like evidence.
Mhm.
They're using like behind the scenes, like wasn't there some jail calls or some statements or something?
Yep.
Like, but who's to stop me from saying, yo, I killed Pac? If I said, yo, I killed Pac, Berlin's not going to sit there and move the needle of, okay, we need to be investigating Franz, right? So there needs to be more evidence than simply this dude telling or writing a book about killing Pac. By the way, if you kill a celebrity like Tupac Shakur, maybe don't.
I wouldn't recommend writing a book.
Don't
about
write
it.
the book.
The basic question here, and is like literally 60 seconds ago, the basic question here is, this is where I wanted to go with, does time make it a more difficult prosecution?
I think in some respects that it makes it an easier prosecution because the notoriety of Tupac, while still a very famous performer, artist, actor, I think it gives the victim's family and the state prosecuting a little bit more of a fair shot because I think you're going to have less of a clouded issue of people who know him. Now, the hard part about this is the culture in the world at the time of that murder.
Yeah.
Like, do people think, well, man, that's just the world they were living in and this, that, and the other.
That's on the Las Vegas Strip, though, boss.
Yeah.
That's very quickly can run afoul.
That's like downtown Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It's the safest downtown Baton Rouge.
No, I don't know why you would do that.
See what I did there?
Yeah, it was erroneous at best.
College Drive?
All right. No. We're going to break, come back. Moral Dilemma Monday is next. No. Play the break first. Damn.
Sometimes when I go down College Drive, I put on Limp Bizkit. I have a lot of friends out there. That drink high noons. If you're a guy, if you're someone who drinks high noons, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, but we do need to keep it to the topic this time. The text thread got so out of whack about blaming Gen Z for everything.
What?
The
Stuart knows I'm on air and is calling me.
Answer it.
You know I'm on the radio right now, right?
I know you're on a break right now.
He has been a break right now.
All right. Yeah. Let me call you back after the radio show. I'm going to call you back after radio. All right. Shout out to Stu Juice. Stuart, our mutual friend Stuart,
Associate producer Stu
made a pastelaya, and I don't get excited about pastelayas. Like, it doesn't really blow my skirt up, right? No offense to anybody who loves pastelaya.
Well, no, him and Lucas, right?
This pastelaya,
yeah,
and it was like a day old pastelaya.
That's
so
what it soaks and everything.
Right. It had percolated. I got to tell you, it kind of changed my view on pastelaya. I've always been like, why pasta? Why not rice? What's wrong with rice? Why we got to reinvent something?
There's nothing wrong with rice.
Hey.
The only difference is pastelaya.
I want us to do an internal buddy wing competition. Not a burger cook-off, wing competition.
Okay.
There's talk about a wing festival. There's talk. I would love to bring that event back. I'd really love
You
that
really
event.
need to.
I mean, I got some life. Wait, did Stuart make the pasta liar or did Lucas and Stuart?
Luke, I thought it was Stuart and Lucas. Stu might have been talking to me about a different thing.
Yeah.
But yes. I was enjoying a delectable stew burger.
What am I going to do Wednesday morning? Sleep. Somebody in Iberville asked me, one of the deputies who listens to our segment and likes our segment, was like, how do you have time to do all the stuff you do? Like, and he wasn't being ugly about it. He's like, you do a lot of stuff. How do you have time? And I'm like, the segment's at 6:25 in the morning. I said, what would I be doing at 6:25? And he looked at me and said, sleeping. I said, yeah. So it's really nothing. And in fact, when I get done here, I used to do court TV. Don't do that. I still do court TV. I just don't do a 7 a.m. one on Wednesdays. So I go to the office after this, or sometimes I'll go to mass at 8, but I'll go to the office and I get an hour of work done before I go to court.
Right.
And so really it's not, to me, it's a push. Now, if the segment were at 10 a.m. on a weekday, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
Right. LT Dupree, shout out to LT. He's running for judge, got my vote.
What kind of judge?
Family court. He asked, what was Stenka convicted of? Was it obstruction? Well, look, obstruction carries up to 20 years,
It was
guys.
It was a stack of charges.
Yeah, it was
there were a whole bunch of charges.
LT, he is my candidate for I don't have a sign. LT hasn't dropped off a sign in my yard yet. I did. Joey Cataldi put a sign in it's the first time I had the candidate put a sign in my yard. He actually had the device and was.
I'm outside of Cataldi's.
It's okay. It's okay. We mutually know him. He's a buddy from church.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
Same.
But I respect a candidate that gets his hands dirty.
Yeah. It's a yard sign. He's not digging a sewer main.
He used the device.
His hands aren't going to get dirty, though. It's 6:52, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, we do it about this time every Monday. It is time for Moral Dilemma Monday. Oh, we have a question of vanity today. We have a question of what makes a man today. Walking in aesthetics practice, grabbing this one from a website called New Beauty. I found you. Walking in aesthetic practice right now, and one thing is clear. Men are not just showing up. They're asking smarter questions and thinking long-term about how they look. The numbers back it up. According to the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, surgical procedures in men are up 95% globally since 2018, with non-surgical treatments rising even faster. But what matters more than growth is how the category is evolving. Men still want dramatic change, but the trend is shifting towards refinement and looking like themselves on their best day. Throwing this question out there, Franz, Breland, do we need to start looking at men's plastic surgery the same way we look at women's plastic surgery? Breland, go.
Oh, gosh, this is a messy No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Just, men don't need plastic surgery.
Why not?
Because you're a man. Be a man.
So on the one hand, if your car needs maintenance, do some body work. On the
Hang
other hand, when did men become such little
Woo.
female dogs?
Yeah, so the B word is going to be thrown around a little bit.
It's a high noon generation of men, right?
Well, be careful there. We have some high noon drinkers that listen.
I will say this. Can I be vulnerable? Permission to be honest and vulnerable.
When have you ever not?
I have walked down the Botox road before.
Have you now?
I was a social media guy, one of the team members of doing promotion for a company.
Yeah.
And I was getting some talks done.
Okay.
I have lots of wrinkles in my forehead. That was what I didn't like it. It was like, but also to be fair, men age more gracefully.
Yes.
No
y'all do.
disrespect to women. We age more gracefully. So
See, I think that tide is turning as well.
ugh.
Oh, no, totally.
I'm a snack.
That's,
I'm like a
good lord.
chocolate
All right.
bar over here. But
So-
look, 47. But my point is more 47-year-old.
Nothing chocolate about him.
No,
by the way.
there's nothing. It's all vanilla. 47-year-old
Like
Franz
chocolate.
is 150 pounds lighter than 37 and 27-year-old Franz.
Yeah.
So I am the exception of the rule. Would I get a nose job? I'd be hard pressed at this point to do that.
Okay, so let's that's a perfect place to go with this. Okay, here's a great example: is the nose job. Why can't a man get a nose job?
Why is the man getting a nose? Are we talking about a deviated septum nose job, or
we're talking about like just to look better.
cosmetics. Yeah, cosmetically.
Do you know how much ridicule I would get if I got a little rhinoplasty done? Do you realize the amount of it would be a tantamount to me walking into this room with a full head of hair? You'd all look at me like
you also don't have a honker though. Like, okay, any list of the 100 sexiest men, I'm going to assume is going to include both Adam Driver and Adrian Brody.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those dudes could use a nose job.
Cosmetic surgery,
Mhm.
hair plugs. If I walked in with hair plugs, I would never live it down, would I?
No.
There,
No, you wouldn't.
no matter how majestic my lion-like mane would look, if I walked in here with hair plugs,
Yeah. Your new nickname would be Booty Hair.
right?
I would have less respect for a man who has
Wow.
cosmetic surgery. Less respect for a man.
Okay.
Seriously.
And is that because like it's not what makes a man? Because,
Right.
No, over the years we've seen there's a difference of evolution of what makes a man. I mean, like if you rewind the clock back to a great example, Johnny Fontaine goes to see his godfather, Don
Yeah.
Corleone, and he's crying. He says, I don't know what to do, Godfather. And Don Corleone responds with,
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You can act like a man.
I mean,
What if I identify? It's 2026. What if I identify as this is your soundbite? What if I, Franz Borghardt, identify as an effeminate man? I've got soft hands.
but it's not. That's not.
It's
what
not
defines
that. It is.
But crying over something, like the ability to cry, is not emasculate.
I think part of the
falling apart over the little
I
thing
think
is
one, we have to qualify what cosmetic surgery is. If
Sure.
I were to get a cataract removed from my eye and I don't have to wear glasses anymore, I used to wear glasses.
Yeah.
Is that cosmetic surgery? We
Right.
would probably
I would say no.
no, right?
Right.
Like he has a cataract. He needs to be able to see. If I were to put glasses on that I don't need with clear lenses,
That's vain.
vain. So
But is vain the same as effeminate?
so-
No.
So I think where you're going to see men have plastic surgery is neck.
Oh, I could go for that.
Little neck,
Yeah.
little get rid of some of the baggage
Yeah.
under there. Nose,
Yeah.
Botox. I don't consider that plastic surgery, but
Because it's not permanent.
here's one for you.
Yeah.
I just said earlier, I've lost 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Tummy tuck.
I got a little bit of skin.
Yep.
If I were to tell you, hey, dude, I'm getting some skin removed, would you consider that inappropriate plastic surgery? Or would you say, I understand that you're a pant size extra because you got all this loose skin?
Yeah.
I don't have that much loose skin, but people who lose that much weight would that run afoul to your sensibilities?
Doesn't your skin catch back up though?
No,
No.
it doesn't.
Really?
No, because I had skin removed too.
Yeah, it doesn't, and it's not
Interesting.
as much
No.
as you look magnificent with the weight loss with wearing clothes.
Yeah.
I've had a thigh lift and a tummy tuck because I lost 100-something pounds.
Yeah.
No, the skin doesn't come back.
Okay. All right.
It's
So
a
no,
skin-
I would.
It's not a
I would-
flavalanche,
But,
it's a skin
but hang
avalanche.
on though. That is the best part of the discussion because that is A, not medically necessary,
Okay.
but B, you're having the surgery to keep up with the work that you've done, provided you did the work. And it wasn't the weight loss wasn't the result of it wasn't.
Why are
the
you
result
hating
of-
on injections?
I'm not hating on injections.
See?
If you need it, you need it. That's
So
fine.
I think the problem is, guys, yes, we live in a world. We're living in a material world, and I'm a material girl. But my point is,
Oh, God.
is I think you have to draw some lines, right? If I had a facelift as a man, you're entitled to make fun of me for that.
Yes.
If I had a mole removed,
Right.
on the other end of the spectrum that may be benign or malignant, you might say, okay, well, that's okay.
But the perception remains. It's not for men. All right. We're back after news, traffic, and weather on Talk 107.3.
Tell your family I still live.
I shall. You just did.
I want to hear the Christy story. Christy always says
That was the Christy. That was the Texas State Brazil story.
Your phone is blowing up.
So Texas State Brazil is running a special. I've been thinking about this since I was there. They're running a special that every dollar you spend towards a donation towards St. Jude, they will give you a matching dollar back, like at a gift card, up to $25,000.
Really want to go to Texas State Brazil?
Not if my finger's gonna get cut.
No. It's a charitable write-off is not worth shitty customer service.
If they would have given here's Solomon here. What if they would have said, sir, we're not going to comp your entire table, but we are going to comp that young man's meal?
Yeah, that's it.
You would have been like, fair.
Thank you. That's all. Yeah, that you've acknowledged that you effed up with more than just oopsies.
Or a gift card or something. Shit.
Enjoy your week.
Love you, Franz.
Bye, Franz.
The president also mentioned Seoul's refusal to take action against
I want to hang on to the Gen Z one until we have Franz back in again. That second story that I sent yesterday, I think we can do next Monday.
Okay. And Franz will be back on Monday.
No. He's no, same, but it's
I think the line for men with plastic surgery is whether or not surgery corrects something that is universally accepted as ugly or unpleasant. Kind of what you were saying, like with the nose.
okay, but again, Adam Driver's nose on my face would be universally unpleasant. He's still going to be one of the sexiest men alive. Oh my God, I totally forgot. So also it was Abby's birthday and they didn't bring her out a dessert. They brought out a plate with a candle on it. Like a candle on a plate. And it said happy birthday in chocolate sauce. Just a candle, like they dripped the wax on the plate and then stuck the candle in the wax so it would stand up.
You have a picture?
No. Wait, I think we do. We're never ever doing a birthday there again. I'm never paying for another meal there again. If someone invites me, they're picking up the tab. But that place is doo-doo.
Oh my God. Damn. It never used to be that bad. When they first opened, the service was
Well, So. Seven 7:05 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. We've ticked up to 80 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we start hour number 2 from the 7 o'clock hour from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. Coming up this hour, we've got Medical Monday with Our Lady of the Lake. Going to be talking about opioid awareness. We've got Will Green from LABI talking about LegisGator, which is coming up later on this week. In fact, we'll have the show on the road Thursday evening, Friday morning from LegisGator. Looking forward to this, y'all. So for those that don't know what it is, LegisGator started off as an awards banquet for legislators who could help support Southwest Louisiana. Like, hey, you did great in this last legislative session. Let's give you a little lunch. And I know it doesn't sound right when I say it that way, but it's just that it started off basically as a way to celebrate Southwest Louisiana and keep it on the map. Well, this year, the folks from Leaders for a Better Louisiana and the folks from LABI got together to say, let's make this an event where there's a whole lot going on over the course of 3 days. So Lobby is going to have Wednesday, Leaders for a Better Louisiana is going to have Thursday, and then the LegisGator Awards is going to be on Friday. Now, you're going to get from this a number of keynote speeches, breakout sessions about how do we take the momentum that we've got in Louisiana and just turn it into overdrive. I'm looking forward to it because, in my view, this is going to be like a local version from a content perspective, a local version of Washington Mardi Gras. You're gonna have the whole state convene in one quick spot and be able to do the most with it in a very, very short period of time, getting people together, making sure there's collaboration, growth, imagination, everything that is building the state right now, we can catapult into the future because of it. So that's coming up later on this week. Right now, we do top stories and trending. At the end of next month, crews will begin overlaying Lee Drive between Perkins and Highland. The overlay work is expected to take a few weeks to complete. Now, this overlay is going to provide so much needed relief for drivers. Potholes, cover after cover, just patchwork along the way. But this is separate from the larger Lee Drive Move EBR project, which will bring significant improvements and widen the whole corridor. That project separately will start at a later date. Like a much later date. This is just a patch to get us through. Number 4, an 18-year-old girl died following a shooting near East Myrtle Avenue in Baker around 11:45 Friday night. Investigators said there has been no motive established at this time. Obviously, no suspects yet at this time, but the investigation continues. Funeral services for Skip Burtman are slated for August 25th at the PMAC. Doors are going to open at 6 for a public service that begins at 7. Now, there will be a private service earlier. Doors will open at 4:30 for friends, family, and former players. Zachary closed down their hot air balloon festival on Saturday to investigate reports of shots fired. Police secured the scene, interviewed witnesses, conducted their investigation, and as it turns out, there actually were no shots fired. Whoop, I hit refresh and I shouldn't have done that. Dadgummit. My apologies. Ba, 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 ba. Police arrested a man accused of killing a 65-year-old in Morgan City over the weekend. Morgan City police said officers were dispatched to the area around Pine and Maple Streets on Sunday for a welfare check. Once they arrived, they found a person dead inside a home. It was quickly determined foul play was involved. The investigation led police to arresting 49-year-old Whitney Billiot IV on first-degree murder charges. He was booked into the St. Mary Parish Jail early this morning. What you got, Breland?
Well, in a twist on Friday, Luigi Maggione pleaded guilty to federal stalking charges and admitted to shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Yeah. You heard Franz talking about that last hour. Got a little bonus legally served on that one. You're playing that to say you want to avoid double jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say he was also playing it to wear it as a badge of honor. Like, yeah, I did
didn't.
it. Your insurance company killed my mom, so I killed your insurance company.
See, that's what I'm thinking he did. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I did it. I'm angry.
Yeah.
All right, the FBI's 2025 crime numbers are out. At least the nationwide ones are.
Yeah, we don't have state by state yet.
Right. Violent crime is down across the country by more than 10%.
Property crime's down too.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing that there's a number of different factors that contribute to this, but I would imagine, and this is just pure speculation, but surveillance is one of them. The more prevalent the Ring doorbells, the more prevalent the flock cameras.
Okay.
Go in your group chat on your neighborhood and complain about the flock cameras all day long. They're doing good.
Yeah.
Crime prevention districts do good. I mean, it's just, the things we complain about on a day-to-day basis are helping.
See, and going back to feelings, Brian, it's just, I feel like, and I know it's not about feelings, but I feel like we're angrier as a whole, as a people, as a society. So I would almost think those numbers would be way up with
We're
crime.
angrier?
Well, yes, because
what does that have to do with?
You just like get me kind of culture, out to get me, and you just feel, I don't know, I just feel as a society we're just angrier.
Okay.
And crime,
Like Luigi Mangione.
yes,
Like
yes.
more people are just going to snap.
Yep, snappier. In unfortunate news, 36-year-old actress Hayden Panettiere passed away. Details surrounding her death are not immediately available.
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere, you were talking to last hour
Horrible.
about the drug problem, and in fact, they just had a soundbite in ABC News that was pulled from her from like years ago, where she was 16 years old and someone gave her first, I guess, opioid.
Yes, and she has struggled her whole life. Postpartum depression right after having her baby girl, Kaya. And then she struggled with alcoholism. She struggled with substance abuse. She willingly gave away custody of her daughter so she can get her life back in order. She's
Crazy.
just always struggled. And I hate that.
Yeah.
She was an incredible actress. And every interview you would watch from her, resilient and openly honest about her issues. It's just heartbreaking.
We're at 712 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to check traffic on the back end of the break before we have Medical Monday coming your way. I can tell you before we check traffic, man, we were worried it was going to stack up on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham, and yeah, it has. More on that in just a little bit. Before we take you to our break, though, I want to remind you about Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website. Louisiana's manufacturing sector and the businesses that support them can no longer stand aside and let others tell their story. Industry Makes is a co-branding toolkit that all businesses and associations can use and complement with their own advocacy and branding efforts to show a united front and a shared benefit from industry's presence in the community. They employ our neighbors. They make the products that we use on a day-to-day basis. A lot of products we don't even realize that it comes from industry up and down the river. If you want to learn more, visit industrymakes.org. Do you have the Medical Monday? Medical Monday? I believe it was, yeah. Same one from last Monday, I believe. I looked this guy up. This Put this commercial on Facebook real quick.
Business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit.
So I went to the Google machine and I typed in Kenneth, Black River Falls, Wisconsin, attorney. There can't be that many Kenneths who are an attorney in Black River Falls, right? Like Black River Falls, Wisconsin, how big is that? Wisconsin, let's see, population. Black River Falls, Wisconsin is approximately 3,571 people. So how many attorneys named Kenneth can there be, right? Well, I Googled Kenneth, Black River Falls, Wisconsin, attorney, and every single Google answer on page one, at least, is a guy named Kenneth Artis, also known Ken Artis, A-R-T-I-S. He's an attorney at law located in Black River Falls. His LinkedIn, his Yelp, his professional profile, his Facebook profile, his lawyers.com profile. Like, Google is just full of this guy, Ken Artis. I am dying to call him. Now, I'm not going to have time this week, obviously, right? But, oh my God, I need to call him and be like, hey, are you the Ken that the timeshare guy is talking about? I really, really, really want to. Okay, now hang on. Come back to me. 7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, getting you Medical Monday here in just a quick second, but I got to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com, booking a business trip anytime throughout the fall. Give FlyBTR.com a look if you wouldn't mind. First of all, the daily flight into Reagan National, Internation's capital, comes back home same evening. Beautiful. All set, all done. Awesome. But where else are you going? Check out FlyBTR.com before you book, though, and take into account the whole package, okay? My biggest thing when I'm flying, when I come home, I want to be home. I don't want to fly home and still have an hour to drive. I also thoroughly prefer the TSA experience at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport versus down the road in New Orleans. Thoroughly enjoy the level of customer service. And oh, by the way, rather than parking and paying exorbitant amounts overnight, how about parking or not parking at all, but Ubering to the airport? Completely different scenario. If you're booking your travel, go ahead and give FlyBTR.com a look. Here's Medical Monday.
It's time for your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday. In this installment, we're exploring a difficult topic that is hit close to home for way too many families, the rise in opioid use disorder. Joining us today, we got Dr. Jason Green, a pulmonary critical care physician for FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center. Dr. Green brings both a medical perspective and a deeply personal experience about the kind of care we need in our health systems and in our community if we're going to make a difference. Let's dive right in. Good morning, Dr. Green. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Doing well.
So let's start a little bit about yourself, your career, and what you do at Our Lady of the Lake.
Sure. My name is Jason Green. I am an assistant professor of medicine at Our Lady of the Lake. I help teach residents and medical students in the ICUs and on the pulmonary consultation service. So I deal with lung disease and critical illness. I married a girl that I went to high school with in Walker, Louisiana. We moved away for 15 years for all of my medical training. And now we're back living in Baton Rouge, and I have a 5 and a 6-year-old boy who are absolutely wild.
All 5 and 6-year-old boys are. Yes, that is to be sure. That's awesome stuff. All right. So you're on with us today during National Opioid Awareness Month because you have a personal connection that drives your passion for improving how healthcare responds to patients with substance abuse disorders. So tell us a little bit about your own story, the OUD work happening at the lake, and tell us a little bit about your perspective as a physician, how it's changed through your life experience.
Sure. So August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. And in the United States, as well as Louisiana more specifically, fentanyl is the most common drug leading to overdose death. In Louisiana, greater than 1,000, typically less than 2,500 deaths per year from this disease. And unfortunately, my personal story is not uncommon. It's not rare. I had an older brother. His name was Michael. He was 2 years my senior, and he struggled with addiction. It started with a curiosity, I would say. He was definitely an adventurous spirit. He was the kind of guy who would put your name in without you knowing at a karaoke place, and next thing you know, you're singing violent films. So, just a very spirited person and a curious individual. And that curiosity, unfortunately, led to addiction and substance use disorder. And it manifested when I was in undergraduate. And while I was away during medical training, it seems to have grown substantially. Now, my brother never really admitted that he had much of a problem until November 2025. That was the first time that he recognized that there was an issue. And he notified the family, and we immediately went to the lake. And we brought him to the emergency room there. We met a very kind and thoughtful emergency room physician who offered treatment, inpatient and outpatient options, as well as medications to help relieve some of the withdrawals that can go along with opiate use disorder. My brother, he was a father. He owned a small business, and he thought that inpatient rehabilitation services would not allow him to continue to support his family. So he decided to seek outpatient option.
Sure.
At his outpatient visit, they deemed that he was too addicted to receive outpatient therapy. So inpatient was his only option. He checked himself into a rehab, stayed for about a week, checked himself out. About a week later, he decided to try again and checked himself back in, and again checked himself out about 7 days after that. And within a week after that, he had overdosed and died. And, you know, I look back and I reflect at what could have been done differently. And I see so much opportunity in the approach that the medical system has and the education that the general public should have in recognizing and treating this disease. So that's the goal during this month, and it's a FMOL health systems initiative to push forward and do better with recognizing and treating this disease.
We're talking with Dr. Jason Green for Medical Monday. And when I got the prep work on this, I had no idea how recent it was. So first, before we move any further along, thank you for opening up about this. That cannot be an easy story to tell, especially while it's so recent. So, I mean, just it isn't, like you said, it's not an uncommon thing. It's not a uncommon thing. This happens far too many people in far too many places and on far too many spots along the spectrum for all demographics out there. Opioid.
Right, that's such an important point.
Yes.
That it's not, this disease is not siloed to a preconceived notion of what someone with substance use disorder, opiate use disorder is. It's not, you can't reduce it down to just that. It is, I through medical training, worked with fellow physicians through my pulmonary and critical care fellowship in Pittsburgh. And one of those physicians was instrumental in my understanding of this disease because he himself went through the trials of addiction, and he sought help, and he has reached sobriety, and he is now a practicing physician who specializes in that disease. And you know, they are fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters. They're members of our community.
Yeah.
And I think it's important from the healthcare system and the family perspective to try not to be reductionist and to approach these people, these members of our communities in a loving way and meet them, you know, where they want to be met.
You mentioned there's room for understanding and treatment. Well, where can the medical field head on both of those fronts?
Yes, couple different approaches. So the overall goal of treatment is to improve the health and function of the individual, and that's treatment across any disease. So with this, a big portion is establishing a degree of education about this as a disease and not something that someone just has to quit.
Right.
So there's education, there's overdose prevention, and then establishing continuity of care, because the road to recovery from this is not straight. It's often beset with relapse, and understanding how to work on mitigation and treatment from those relapses. And then from the medical side of things, there's a social, and then there's an action side of it. So the social side, from our medical perspective, if we want this disease to change, we have to change the way that we're treating these people. And these judgments and preconceived notions and patients not feeling safe saying what's going on in their life is a problem. So we have to be the community healthcare center that they understand is here to help. And then once they feel comfortable enough to give us that opportunity, immediately fill them with the resources that the lake system has. And it starts with kind of a two-pronged approach. Pharmacological therapy. This has been proven to reinforce abstinence, improve treatment retention, and mortality reduction. So pharmacotherapy, and then psychosocial intervention. And this is more tailored to the individual. So is it counseling? Is it family support, peer support, housing, case management? These two pronged interventions, along with establishing a degree of education and continuity of care, are critical in preventing this, the unfortunate outcome that is all too common with this disease.
Dr. Jason Green, our guest on Medical Monday, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. The pharmacological end of this, I mean, it's a problem that started on our chemical end. So how effective is the chemical return?
The question is, how effective is the medication that we give?
Yeah, because I mean, what we're talking about with opioids these days is it is so addictive so fast that there's no way that can be undone in an easy manner.
It is not. It is certainly not. And if this were an easy disease to treat, I think the understanding and the notions that surround it would not be there. But it is a difficult disease to treat because it involves a social aspect as well. From the pharmacotherapy side of things, you can think of it like trying to quit smoking. You don't expect perfect first attempts,
right?
But you can give medications that can ease cravings and ease withdrawals. So it doesn't, the medication side of this is not, here's 1 month of treatment. It is, here is the perspective initially should be, here is indefinite treatment until we can wean, until you have reached stable, established sobriety, and you have built that support system around to be ready for relapse. So the medication side of this, the perspective shouldn't be, here's a month of treatment. It should be, here's 2 years of treatment. And we expect to see you back in clinic. And we're going to talk about this more. We're going to go ahead and schedule follow-ups.
And then from the psychological side, is this more along the lines of we need to do a better job of a reward system, showing wins as opposed to the constant mountain in front of you?
This is the tailored aspect. There are positive reinforcement therapies that are beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
There are cognitive behavioral therapies that are beneficial, depending on, and this is diving more into the individual, the situation surrounding the use. So if it is, there's underlying psychological disease that needs to be treated, and then understanding what can trigger a relapse is important. Yeah. So it may be indeed positive reinforcement mechanisms, or understanding what triggered use to prevent misuse.
Just unbelievable stuff. Dr. Jason Green with us. He's a pulmonary critical care physician over at Our Lady of the Lake. We're talking about opioid use disorder in this National Opioid Awareness Month. Continue on that path, though, Doc. Talking about the positive reward, but like you said, there's going to be missteps along the way. While this is a marathon, not a sprint, there are times where you get off the beaten path a little bit. How do you make that to where getting off the beaten path a little bit just stays a little bit?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I ask myself this with my brother as well. And a portion of my understanding came from a colleague of mine who personally dealt with addiction. And he told me that the overwhelming majority of time that an individual is using, it is easier during their brief moments of clarity to go back to use because there's so much shame that is surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
And that very rarely will they have a moment of recognition. He kind of phrased it like a window of opportunity. And he may reveal, or the individual, he or she may reveal that they have a problem and they need treatment. So at that first window of opportunity, just surrounding them with resources is critical. And with those resources, will come inevitably a safety net that is built. And this can be through, if alcohol use disorder is an issue, there are social safety nets within that organization to help understand when a relapse is occurring and bring them back onto the path. And from the opiate use perspective, the medication-assisted therapy, as well as continuity of care, so follow-up in clinic, hopefully curbs those things. And within the Lake system, if you were to come into the emergency room with opiate use disorder, having that contact and that follow-up already established, so that clinics and care officers can call and check in and see how you're doing. It's accountability on the healthcare system as well.
No, absolutely, it is. This flew by way too fast. Before we get you out of here, do you have any parting words or advice for listeners who might be struggling or know someone who is struggling with opioid use disorder?
So for families, I have been a family member of someone who struggled with opiate use disorder, and I can't force my way through it. But you can ask if you can help. And this can be a first step in being kind of an open communication to take action when that hopeful moment of clarity, that window of opportunity comes. And for those struggling with addiction, help is out there. You are not alone in this. And the goal of FMOL Health is to walk through this with you. We know that there needs to be a change in the approach and treatment of this disease, and we are hoping to be a part of that change.
Here in Baton Rouge, we saw actually a drop in fentanyl deaths last year, but it's kind of like hurricane season. It only takes one in your backyard to make it actually hit home. Dr. Jason Green, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Hit news. Well, I didn't realize we were that far over. I texted Trey, the guy that booked her. I said, did y'all also do an interview with Louisiana Radio Network? I want him to tell me no first.
I have to say no. Woo! I need to send off the printer. Hey, we're gonna come to you in a minute, okay? Okay.
We have him? Oh, yeah, we got him.
Yeah, he is.
737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Going to get you to Will Green from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry in just a quick second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at NeuroJust. You'll find them online at neurojust.com, NEUROJUST, neurojust.com. If you or someone you know and love is battling with anxiety, depression, and has been treatment resistant, meaning you don't like the meds, the antidepressants either aren't taking or have side effects or have diminishing returns, or I mean, now the thing is like they've got prescription drugs to help the prescription drugs. If your antidepressants aren't working, take this drug to make this drug work. If you're tired of that, give TMS therapy a look. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. The folks over at NeuroJust. Number one, if it is working for you, if what you're doing is working, stay on that path. The folks at NeuroJust are just concerned that they're concerned for your mental well-being on your journey. So if what's working is working, keep working it. But if it's not working, neurojust.com. Will Green from LABI is on the hotline with us. How are you, sir?
Ron, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm fired up for this week. From my end, there's going to be a lot of travel this week, but where I'm going to land on Thursday and Friday, I could not be happier about. You're going to be there, I believe, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it is an exciting week, and we're excited to partner with the Southwest Louisiana Economic Development Alliance and Leaders for Better Louisiana to really expand on what's already an incredible event, and that is LegisGator over in Lake Charles at the Low Bears Casino. And so, yeah, Brian, it's exciting.
So LegisGator, if we can rewind the clock, it started off as a luncheon. And really just an excuse for state legislators around the state to not forget about Southwest Louisiana. It started off as a luncheon and then grew into, a couple of networking sessions before that. Well, y'all and leaders teamed up to make this thing a 3-day event that I think is going to be probably the biggest policy conference on the calendar.
Yeah, so it certainly could be, and we hope eventually it will be. And as you said, look, it started out years ago as a luncheon to sort of celebrate all of the economic impact and wins of Southwest Louisiana. The congressional delegation would come in town, the governor would come in and and then they give out what was called their LegisGator Award.
Right.
And what started out as a luncheon sort of evolved into a breakfast and a evening event. And really, I give a lot of credit to Scott over at the Southwest Chamber. He saw it when he came in. He's been over there a few years now, and he realized that it is great event as it is. It had the potential to be so much more. And so he talked to Adam and I over at Better Louisiana and asked us if we wanted to sort of come along and share that vision with him and turn what was a lunch and a breakfast into what is now a 3-day really policy summit where Lobby will lead off Wednesday afternoon with our policy summit where we'll talk about insurance and energy and workforce, and then we'll have a reception that evening. And if you've ever been to Washington Mardi Gras, there's suites lined up where folks have cocktails and conversations, and we'll have those Wednesday night and Thursday night. Thursday, Better Louisiana has their Future Louisiana Conference where they've got several tracks talking about, different opportunities in around Louisiana and not only Louisiana, but across the country to sort of see where we can model successes of around the country and take those back and sort of see a vision for the future in Louisiana. And then again, there'll be evening receptions, evening events. And then those are all roll into kind of the traditional LegisGator that everybody's used to. There'll be some breakfast meetings that morning, Friday morning, and then we'll roll into the traditional luncheon. And so again, we're really excited to expand on what's been an incredible event and really turn it into what we think will probably be the largest event outside of Washington Mardi Gras that'll draw legislators, business leaders, stakeholders, policy leads from not only Louisiana, but across the South.
So, and I'm glad you brought up Washington Mardi Gras, because like when I look at the calendar up until this year, when I look at the calendar, LegisGator was like the first chance that everybody got to come back together to just kind of reminisce isn't the word. Just get together to talk about what didn't get done in the last legislative session. And that was like the inkling for ideas. And then we'd all see each other again at Washington Mardi Gras, and you start to get the idea for what legislation is going to come around the next session. And then when when Lobby's annual meeting comes around, those ideas are a little bit more refined. And then by the time the legislative session kicks off, we had a good idea of what direction we were going in that we meaning the state, a good idea of direction we're going. I feel like expanding LegisGator gives us so much more of a head start. And when I say we, I mean all Louisianans, a head start on finding a path, asking where we're going, and being able to refine ideas and get good ideas, better serving ideas this much earlier in the calendar year or, pre-legislative session than just waiting around until it's like last minute before pencils down.
Absolutely. Look, a lot of bills go into effect in August. And so this is an important time of year to sort of look back and see, okay, what did we do this past session?
Yep.
What's going into effect in August? This is an important time of the year for Lobby as an organization, because this is when we go out as a team, we meet with our councils. We start meeting with our councils in, roughly August, September, October. We meet with our coalitions. We meet with our members. Our board comes together, and we start perfecting our program of work, which is our playbook for how we are going to prioritize 2027, the next year. And then, as you said, our annual meeting is usually around February, early March every year. And that's sort of, we've perfected our program of work. We know what our priorities are. We bring, leaders from across the state and legislators together again down in Baton Rouge. And we start kind of putting pen to paper on what legislation will look like throughout the year. And that's sort of how, our legislative and our policy playbook comes together. And so this is another shot in the arm to that. This is another opportunity to gather get out ahead and really information and inform ourselves on the kind of things that we need to be looking at going into next year.
We're talking with Will Green from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Looking at what y'all have planned on that Wednesday, you're hitting 3 topics that are, play the hits, man. You're hitting 3 topics that Ryan Seacrest is going to have in the top 5 on his countdown every single week for sure. Let's start off with, what are we looking at on the legal reform and insurance side?
Yeah. So look, as you said, Brian, I mean, these are 3 topics that we prioritized coming into this session. They're topics that, look, I've been to Lafayette, I've been to Morgan City, I've been to Ruston, and I've had some small business roundtables. There's still 3 topics that everywhere I go are still top of mind in the business community, and it's legal reform, it's workforce development, and it's energy. And so those are the 3 things that we wanted to discuss at our policy summit. And we've brought together, we think, some of the smartest minds to talk about that. And so kicking it off will be restoring balance in legal reform. And we're going to talk about really promoting fairness and predictability, and how do we create an environment where businesses can grow and invest with confidence, especially when it comes to our legal system, our civil justice system. And so we've invited Tim Temple, our Commissioner of Insurance, Alan Seaball, an attorney and legislator, Senator from North Louisiana, Representative Kelly Dickerson, Representative Dennis Bamberg, and then Jeannie Walker, who is Vice President and Special Counsel of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Institute of Legal Reform, our own Shelby Dunbar, who's our policy lead on civil justice, is going to moderate that panel. And so we're really excited to keep that discussion going, talk about the successes we've had, and then discuss where we need to go from here.
Also, keeping it playing the hits, man. Patrick Robinson's going to lead the way for expanding energy dominance. Tell me about this panel.
Yeah. So again, look, we were able to really defend our place as a state on energy dominance. And then we're going to talk about, look, that all above energy approach, what that means with Secretary Dustin Davison of the Department of Conservation and Energy, Chairman Brett Guyman, John Paul Couson, District 2's Public Service Commissioner, David Cresson, the CEO of the Chemistry Association. And then we brought on Larry Hand, who's the Vice President of Regulatory and Public Affairs for Entergy, to talk about all the exciting stuff they have going on around Meta and data centers, and answer a lot of questions, I think, that are out there right now surrounding, energy and rate paying and a lot of these data centers.
I could listen to Entergy on a loop right now. I don't think they can get their message out enough at this point, to be sure. And then, of course, the third round here, Mary Beth is going to be running the session from classroom to career.
Yeah. So look, as we look at over $100 billion in economic investment coming to Louisiana, how do we fill that kind of economic excitement with the talent that we need? How do we upskill? How do we reskill? And then how do we replace the jobs that are going to be needed for this new investment with the current needs that we have already in Louisiana? And talking about that is going to be Mary Beth Derrickson. She's going to lead that panel with Secretary Susan Shallon from Louisiana Works, Richard Nelson, who is the president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System, Representative Ken Brass, Representative Stephanie Baralt, and then Missy Hobson, who is a chief workforce officer at Ochsner. One of the big needs that really sometimes goes unnoticed is in our healthcare industry.
Yeah.
And so Ochsner is doing a lot of cool stuff on upskilling and reskilling in the healthcare sector. And so Missy Hobson's going to come and talk about the cool stuff they're doing in healthcare to upskill and reskill.
He is Will Green. We'll see you in Lake Charles, man. And by the way, got plenty of room on this show to fill up some of that content as well. So I'll see you over in Southwest Louisiana.
Thanks, Brian. I'll see you there.
Thank you. Absolutely. Here's your money now. still don't know where we're going in the 8:35 segment. It's no, that's fine. I still don't know where we're going yet. I've got an interview request out that hasn't been answered yet, so we might have an interview to fill it. Yeah, I know where we're not going. We're not going to the break room, but where are we going? Ascension. $7:54, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We are 10 days away. We talk about the show being on the road. We're going on the road a lot in August, y'all. We're 10 days away from the largest gathering of businesses, organizations, and community leaders in Ascension Parish. August 27th at the Lamar Dixon Rev Center will be the Ascension Business Expo. The showcase is going to be free, making it easy to explore much more than 100 exhibitors. It's going to be over 100 exhibitors. You could build new business connections, discover local products and services, and support businesses throughout the community. This is going to be a fantastic day out in Ascension Parish. It's going to start with a breakfast buffet and networking. You're going to have a keynote breakfast. You're going to have the Partners in Education recognition, then the big exhibit with the expo, breakout sessions to follow. Everything will culminate with the Taste of Ascension happy hour, going to be going on August 27th at the Lamar Dixon Rev Center. Now, registration is required, so hit up the Ascension Parish Chamber's website to find out more about that. You heard Will Green from LABI talking about the workforce challenges that are out there, making sure that our talent stays home and our talent grows on that front. Well, our news partners over the Louisiana Radio Network caught up with Richard Nelson, who heads up the Louisiana Community and Technical College system. Nelson has laid out a plan designed to meet the growing workforce needs. Nelson says one of the initiatives is to provide more transparency to prospective students on the types of jobs that they can get with an associate's degree just by visiting their website. Cut 8, please.
Hey, look, this is what the salary is if you complete this program. This is how long it's going to take. This is, the jobs, some of the companies that these people that graduate with this, these credentials, where they go to work, how much they make an hour.
And once again, shout out to Louisiana Radio Network for gathering the audio on this one. There are about 125,000 students attending 12 schools. Nelson has identified several ways that they can boost enrollment, and that's by providing students with strong advising, childcare, and transportation, and ways to reduce student debt as well. Cut 9.
These are barriers that have existed in the state for a long time. And if we want to meet these workforce needs, we really have to think outside the box and really, design it differently in order to close all these gaps.
I mean, think about that for just like thinking outside the box. How important are these needs? Because it's not the traditional method of, the traditional path towards education, towards going towards your career. This is a little bit non-traditional. So yeah, childcare is going to take precedence for a lot of folks. Making sure you're not taking on more debt is going to take precedence for a lot of folks. But there is no part of the equation that's not important to the equation. Because this is all about making sure that as Susan Bourgeois is out there big game hunting around the world to bring things home to Louisiana, we have the workforce to back it up when she gets here or when they get here. By the way, in the last academic year, the Louisiana Community and Technical College system awarded nearly 53,000 credentials to 41,000 completers of their 41,000 completions, 20,000 graduates entering high demand occupations over the last year. Nelson, who had been on the job for less than a year, says one of his priorities is to align programs with the workforce needs. Cut 10.
And that includes partnering with employers and with corporate partners to make sure that the training that we're giving is the training that they need, so that when folks show up on the job, they have the skills that they need.
And we're already seeing this, by the way. Go right back to Ascension Parish, as I was talking about on the way in from break. Go right back to Ascension Parish. River Parish's community college is already out in front on this when it comes to making sure that Hyundai Steel has what they need as they near opening, as they're making things happen along the river as well. So River Parish's community college is kind of writing a template for how school by school all around the state, we can adapt to what's needed in our own backyard. We're going to see it with Meta a whole lot. We're going to see it with Entergy a whole lot. In fact, don't forget about our good old friends at Exxon. ExxonMobil, been in our backyard for 115 years. What does the next 115 look like? Well, there's a commitment to employing our neighbors. That's first and foremost. There's a commitment to safety in our backyard. That's also, well, I guess that's 1A. If employment is 1, that would be 1A. But where do we go in the future? I mean, I know that ExxonMobil is staying out in front on an education basis by educating all of us by launching a website to talk about carbon capture and storage. Where is that headed in particular? About LACCS.com. About LACCS.com. If you got questions about where they're headed on that front, and some of that is going to involve, new types of training for new types of employment. Absolutely. But how are they staying in front of the curve? They've built up the website about LACCS.com. So everywhere we're seeing it pop up, we're seeing job announcement and then reaction. Job announcement or project announcement and then reaction. And now it's all about keeping the momentum going. This is my favorite part, y'all. I hate politics so much, but I love governance. But you have to have one to get to the other. One's a necessary evil to get to the other. And to see Louisiana finally on a pace where we have jobs promised, good paying jobs, it's a good thing. Bless you. don't want to go to a press conference today.
Wait, what happened?
I don't want to go to a press conference today.
Oh no, who's having a press conference?
The mayor's office. 11:30. Major announcement about the future of the River Center in downtown. I'll get Whitney on the show tomorrow, or Jill, one of the two. Honestly, I'd rather just talk to Whitney or Jill. Either one.
Right.
Either one. Bum, 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 bum. 806. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. Starting off the 8 o'clock hour at 82 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. We got a busy hour this hour. I say that. There's actually something still pending for this hour. So I'm not going to spoil what's coming there, but I can tell you that next segment, we're going to talk about everything under the sun with Moon, as we try to just about every Monday, except for last Monday, where we had to get the governor in because he had a lot to talk about. In fact, let me go ahead and tee this up right now. Not this coming Friday, but next Friday, governor's going to be back on with us in the 8:30 segment. It's I don't usually book guests out that far out. So I gotta be thinking something big's coming. So we're looking forward to that already. And I'll just leave myself and everyone guessing as to what that big could be. So before we get to anything else this hour, I do want to remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. If you look around your bathroom and it just gives you, as the kids say, the ick, it's just gross. It's dingy. It's old. You have a green toilet, like whatever the case might be. Yes, I've lived in a house with a green toilet. No, we had a yellow toilet in our old house. But that's just an example of like bathrooms age, times move on, tastes change, things need to refresh. That's where David Duvall and his team at One Bath and Closets come in. If you want to get rid of your old green toilet. Remember when there was all the rage to have the cushioned toilet seat? That was a dumb idea. If it's time to upgrade not just your toilet, but your entire bathroom, want to get rid of that old tub and move into a walk-in shower, want to not need to redo the tile floors, need to move from one vanity to two. It's the possibilities are endless when you bump around onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com. Learn a little bit more about what's possible out there. Let your imagination run wild, and then give David Duvall a call at 400-8005. Of course, it's 225 because he's local. 400-8005 for One Bath and Closets. Bum, 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 bum. Okay.
Back in the year 1831, long before modern tracking, a massive hurricane tore through the Gulf, wiping out a fishing village in Grand Isle, devastating sugarcane crops across the region. It was known as the Great Barbados Hurricane. Yep, on this day in history.
Are you leading up to a precursor for another hurricane story?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Actually, let's jump ahead, then we'll go back. So in 1969, it was the night of the Gulf Coast faced one of the most powerful storms in history. Hurricane Camille made landfall near the mouth of the Mississippi River as a huge old Category 5, leaving behind a path of destruction that still haunts the coast.
At the time, it was the strongest hurricane from named times.
Yes.
From the time we started naming hurricanes, Camille was the strongest.
Yep. Now, skipping back in 1939, following its red carpet Hollywood premiere 2 days earlier, The Wizard of Oz officially opened at the famous Capitol Theater in New York City. This solidified Judy Garland's place in cinematic history.
Cool.
Yep, cool deal. All I got, just one more for you, and it's scandalous. In 1998, it was a day that stopped the nation when President Bill Clinton went on national television to admit he had an improper physical relationship with intern Monica Lewinsky. And it dominated the news cycle for months on after.
There you go.
And years after.
Yeah. Which kind of moved on.
Moved on.
And to me, it's not about the improper relationship. It's about the lying.
Right.
It's about I did not have relations with that
sexual
woman.
relations with that woman.
and then come
And he
back
was
and be like,
adamant
yeah,
about
I kind
it.
of did.
Right. Adamant that he did not with the woman. And he was like, oh, yeah, I kind of did. No big deal.
You go through it with your kids all the time, right? If you did wrong, tell me you did wrong.
Right. Own
Don't
up to
lie.
it.
The lie makes it worse.
Right.
1,000 times worse.
Right. That's all I have. Do you have anything that I'm missing?
No.
Okay. Birthdays.
I got a birthday you're missing. I guarantee you I've got a birthday you're missing.
I have Robert De Niro.
Okay, yeah.
Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett?
Yes.
I didn't have Davy Crockett.
Let me see. Donnie Wahlberg.
Danny Reagan was born today?
I think he was.
Danny, the famous line from Blue Bloods, you shut up when you're talking to me.
What birthday do I have that you don't have?
No, what birthday do I have that you don't have?
Yeah, true. I have Belinda Carlisle.
Did you have Sean Penn?
No.
Okay. Born on this day in 1878. Oh, God, I wish my wife was listening right now. One Oliver St. John Gogarty. 0 people in the audience know who that is.
I have no idea who that
Actually,
is.
1 person in the audience might know who that is. 2, if my wife were still listening. Oliver St. John Gogarty was an Irish writer and raconteur. But if you've ever been to Dublin, Ireland, in the Temple Bar section,
Dublin, Ireland.
in the Temple Bar section, there is a bar called, and a bar and restaurant, by the way, it's a restaurant downstairs. Oliver St. John Gogarty's is in the Temple Bar area. If you've ever been to Oliver St. John Gogarty's, then you know today is his birthday.
Really?
So we went to Ireland on our honeymoon, Christy and I. We were supposed to go on a
I want to go so bad.
I gotta go back. Gotta go back. But so Christy, when she was younger, did a lot of Irish dancing.
Wow.
So we were on a pub crawl one night in Dublin, Ireland, and she got to go Irish dancing in an Irish pub with some, I'm standing on the side just smashing Guinness. I don't know Irish dancing from anything.
You're
but I'm
just
like,
watching Christy. Go
knock
ahead.
yourself out. Have a great time. Have fun. And it was the best night ever. And the midway stop along that way was Oliver St. John Gogarty.
Oh my gosh. That's so interesting. Did you ever learn how to Irish dance? Even a
No.
little? No.
Oh God, no. Not for me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a lot of up and down. A lot of see the part I don't understand about Irish dancing is there's a lot of bounce to it. Okay. But in order
Like
to get
hip hop bounce?
no, just a lot of you've seen River Dance.
Yes.
You've seen Lord of the Dance.
Yes.
So there's a lot of bounce to that. But in order to get all lubed up to go Irish dancing, you're gonna have a lot of Guinness in the tummy.
Yeah.
I don't like to me that's just
a lot throwing up.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna go that far, but like there's a lot of like I gotta sit down.
Right. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Notable deaths? I don't really have any. I mean, hold on. No, I don't have any that's notable. I had to double check. Yep. Okay.
Nobody that I've heard of.
Right.
To be sure.
National Day today. There's plenty. I mean, let's go with why not? Black Cat Appreciation Day.
Absolutely not. It's National Thrift Shop Day.
Okay, there we go.
National Thrift Shop Day. So
I'm gonna pop some tags.
You're looking for Macklemore's, the name
Yes.
you're looking for. Yes. So today is National Thrift Shop Day. All right, we are due up for a break. Before we take that break, though, I do want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. Love telling you about the Mathern. Oh, I went by Mathern's on Friday. Oh, I had way too many wings. I also had a Ubix pie, but that's neither here nor there. But every Friday over at Mathern's, they'll put the wing bar out there, right? Salad bar is underrated, by the way. Get healthy with the salad bar. But they get the wing bar on Friday. You get like the Cajun wings, the hot honey wings, the spicy Korean, the garlic parm. I mean, it's the full slate going on over there. And you'll just load up the wings and you'll bring it up front. And you're like, oh man, did I really get more than a pound of food? Yeah, you did. You did. And you're gonna like nap in the afternoon. It's awesome. Of course, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop when you download the Mathern's Rewards app. Download it today. Byron says, my Ireland trip was the best vacation I've ever had.
And Scott said the highlight of his Ireland trip was finding the diviest dive bar in Ireland and just drinking with the locals there. He loved it.
We had, I don't know if there's a dive bar. I mean, they're all just pubs. It's all public houses, but like,
But like chilling with the locals was his favorite. come, Moon. Hey, Moon. I'm doing good. How are you doing? How was your weekend? I know, right? Right? Another day, another week. I'm gonna drop you on hold, Moon. Okay.
All right, the interview fell through for next segment. Yeah.
Let's keep moving on.
Yeah, right. I would, but he's got a show to prep. It's 8:18. Talk 107.3 FM and WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Oh, I got to remind you. I completely forgot about this. If you go to I gotta get the website. Shoot. So I fired up the grill last night and thawed out the sheep's head and the drum that we caught when we were down in down in Fouchon. And I hit it up with the Raging Cajun all-purpose seasoning and, some good garlic butter as well. Oh, sheep's head on the half shell. The kids were not used to having little bones in the fish, but they managed their way through it pretty good. But the flavor, oh my word, the all-purpose seasoning is not going to dominate it with like too much spice, right? It's going to be more seasoned, more flavorful, and not just heavy on the pepper. It was beyond fantastic. So quick shout out to Raging Cajun. If you go to, I believe it's acadiankitchens.com is where you'll get your Raging Cajun products. Put in the promo code TALK. You'll get yourself 10% off. The all-purpose seasoning, unbelievable when you're grilling fish. All right, Moon Griffon joins us every single Monday. We talk about everything under the sun with Moon. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. How you been?
Been awesome on this, and got a busy week in store that's going to culminate with LegisGator at the end of the week, but we got a lot of week before we get to it. So,
by the way, Brian, just in case you know, I like fresh fish on Sunday evening too. I mean, if I'd have got the call, I'd have came. I promise.
But I'm dealing with. I don't have a full size grill right now, and it's annoying the heck out of me. My old grill, God bless it, it made it through some tough times, but eventually, like, just the bottom was done, rusted out. I'm due to re-up, and I've got this little portable grill, that like a little tabletop. So I feel like such a weenie, just like cooking for. I can't do with it what I want to do because I don't have the surface area. So otherwise, I'd be throwing invites out left and right.
Yeah, but I'm telling you what, when you got fresh fish, I know we talked. I had a good time eating that fish fresh like that off the grill. Man, you can go to any restaurant in the world. It's not going to be as good as doing it right there in your backyard.
Yep. Absolutely. And add to it, I mean, if you'll recall from the story, this is my son's first time fishing. So he ate what he caught. Like
he loved that.
down to the exact fillet. He ate the sheep's head that he caught. And
Well, my question to you is, when you take a kid fishing
Mhm.
and they have success, how many times do you ask your dad when we going back?
So far, he's asked what 2 or 3 times. He knows football season is a busy season for me with work, but it's he's got the fever, to be sure.
Oh no, but you know what, Brian? That's the fever you want them to have, something like that, something wholesome, something outdoor.
Yeah.
That to me is, all my kids pretty much raised, but that when they did that, I made sure we did what they wanted to do. And anytime you could, I mean, some of that stuff takes time and money and all that, but when you could do it, and take that cat out there. Like I said, I need to get y'all over here if you don't mind fishing for a bass.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that for sure. I mean, it's we whether you're hitting a bass or I gotta get him out in Lake Pontchartrain because that's where I grew up, man. Catching specks in Lake Pontchartrain all day long.
Well, I love the saltwater fishing too when I get a chance. It's nothing like it. It's a blessing to be out there.
So we got oh man, I don't know where to start today, Moon. How close are we to the SpaceX deal, and how big of an impact is it going to have?
Well, Brian, I've been watching quote economic development for years, and I will say, under Jeff and them, this is the most I've seen ever happen.
Yeah.
And I want to believe that all that's going to happen. I know if you go down in that area, because I know people in the area. They said, look, there's some movement. There's definitely something getting ready to happen down here. And I hope not only for the people down in the area, for the state, something like that happens. But I'm just going to take a guess. This is a 4 or 5 year deal. I know Jeff's supposed to come on the 26th. I think there's an announcement coming up. So we hadn't had an official announcement from anybody yet. I've been keeping an eye on Musk every time he's made an announcement, or they do, every quarter they got to announce earnings and all that stuff. Excuse me, I hadn't seen Louisiana mentioned in any of that.
Same.
I'm not saying they're not mentioning it. I haven't seen anything, but I've seen Texas mentioned and things of that nature. So I'm going, man, I just hope this is, I don't think, and I'm going to ask you, I don't think they can miss on this, right? I mean, you can't get excited about something this big and then all of a sudden it goes away. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think there's some truth coming.
That brings up a whole other question, though, is like, this is why economic development people keep such a tight lip on everything, because all of these decisions, none of these decisions are in a vacuum. They're all in existence in global environments and whatnot. So it's, the yes or the no depends on so many factors that we can't determine here in Louisiana. Susan Bourgeois can only, she can do what she can do, but there are extenuating circumstances to everything. So, I mean, is it, if this is, we feel like we have a lot of inside information on this one. We feel like a lot has gotten to the press that, should or should not have. But at the same time, though, if they come up just short on this as a populace, can we really be disappointed? I mean, because it feels like that would be a swing and a miss. But at the same time, though, it's only a swing and a miss because of what we already know.
Yeah, and you're correct. And a lot of things that we know, and they never come through.
Right.
I'm just, I'm hoping this is something that will happen. You can go down in that part of the state where I live closer to it than you do, Pecan Island and all that. And they got a lot of the hunters and fishermen, all that stuff. They don't want no part of it. But the business people and the business side of the community, and that's the ones that are going to make a difference, probably want it to happen. So I'm like you. I'm almost tired of reading about it.
Same.
I would like for them to announce it's coming, and then let's start building. Kind of like what they did with Meta. They had a lot of talk about Meta in Richland Parish until somebody started taking the ground and smoothing it out and building infrastructure. You didn't think it would happen, but once you started seeing that, it happened. I bet you, Brian, if it starts, it sounds like a 3, 4, 5 year project.
Yeah.
Before you have the real jobs, not the construction jobs, but the real jobs that are supposed to be permanent. That takes time. That's a long time.
Well, and the jobs are a big part of it, to be sure, Moon. But man, you don't want to undercut the economic investment as well. Yes, we all want the jobs, absolutely. But man, ask the teachers in Richland Parish right now, like, what's the most important thing to them? That's the sales taxes that have already been raised because of this. It's just the residual jobs that come from the economic investment, that come from the sales taxes, that come from the dollars spent within the area. It's those peripheral jobs, those tangential jobs that I think ought to be, because that's where it's really up to us to invest in ourselves at that point. Those are the jobs that I don't think we ever really count.
Yeah, the thing that worries me, once again, so I lived there for so long, and I could give you names of people. The thing that concern is all this construction work is building it up, but it's not as many jobs once it gets set. So you used to getting these sales collections and taxes and all this stuff working up. Then all of a sudden, some of that goes away, maybe a lot of it. That's the part I don't know yet. Is this thing, once it gets built and everything settles down and whatever the jobs are, whatever that investment is, how does that produce more sales tax revenue and things of that nature for teachers? I don't know that yet.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows that. And that's the part that kind of worries me a little bit, because you gear up, you got all this money coming in, you're giving some people $50,000 bonuses. But what if that's a 2 or 3 year run, and then after that, it all goes away?
Well,
that's the part that worries me.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, no matter how many jobs it is, the sales tax revenue is going to see a spike. I mean, there's going to be windfall when you're under construction, because construction costs a ton of money.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, look at your own budget. You're going to spend more in Christmas season than you are the rest of the year, right? I mean, you get your regular budget for the other 11 months, and then December, you got to beef that spending budget out because you're buying everybody presents. The construction part is the presents when it comes to the sales tax.
No doubt about it. You're right on the money. But, but that was the concern for some people up there. They love what's happening right now. Like my wife said, we go to Monroe. We still got family and friends. I'm headed up there this weekend for a night, for a get-together. And you can't hardly get a hotel room.
Right.
In Monroe, Louisiana, you can't hardly get a hotel room. And they're not as cheap as they used to be.
Also correct.
That's caused all that to go up because there's the demand for it.
So interestingly enough, I was up there a week before last, and I had to stay in an Airbnb. There's nothing wrong with an Airbnb. Love an Airbnb, but given the preference, I'm going to take a hotel all day long. But I stayed in an Airbnb because all the hotels were full. When they had the Louisiana Municipal Association was in town for their annual conference. So, and as I understand it, well, it's going to be tapered off now because school's back in. But all summer long, up in Sterlington, they've got these great youth sports facilities. So they're booking travel baseball all summer long. That was maxed out as well in the hotels. There are, I want to say it's 2 hotels under construction and 3 that are permitted right now, that they're looking to really, really increase the number of hotel rooms up there. I don't think the hotels would make that investment if they didn't think the investment were worth it long term. You're talking about a lot of companies that are investing as well. There's got to be long term residuals, because you're not, telling the folks from Hilton and Marriott, hey, you could build this out and be sold out for a year. I don't think they're buying in on that. But if you tell them you're going to have steady volume for years to come, that's when they're going to build.
Yeah. Well, I lived in, that's why I used to live in the Sterlington area. And I saw, I left 12 years ago. There was growth there, but it wasn't really growth from outside the area. It was people out of Monroe moving to Sterlington, branching out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a little different now. And I understand the ballpark and all. I know the guy that runs it. So, yeah, they're trying to build something up there, and that's a growing area. So you're right. They're not going to invest in a hotel hoping they get 2 years out of it. They invest. They want to get forever out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Matt Talbert?
Yep, I know of him.
It's he's the mayor up there now. He came on the show while I was up there. So,
really?
I got a little taste of what Sterlington's all about. They're doing a lot of things right. It's
it's just a little country area. It's a great area. The people there are super, man.
Yeah,
really. We loved it there. Just we moved with my daughter and all that stuff, but we really enjoyed it when we were out there.
Well, because of the youth sports facilities, I kind of compared Sterlington. Sterlington is to Monroe what Youngsville is to Lafayette.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty safe, but it's definitely the growing area. It's growing out. Matter of fact, Sterlington and Monroe are going to run into each other. They're building everything up 165, so it's going to look like one area before you know it.
So let me ask you this, Moon. If SpaceX comes through, how important does finishing I-49 become? To go from Lafayette to New Orleans through Thibodaux and whatnot, how important does that I-49 corridor become? I mean, to me, as badly as I want a new bridge in Baton Rouge, if the SpaceX announcement comes through, I-49 is going to be priority number 1 for the entire state. Like, all systems go.
Yeah, but Brian, it's and I agree. I think that's a great point, by the way. But it's something that should have been done so long ago. And I just wonder where they're going to get the money from. Because when you start talking about interstates, we're talking about the federal government, and we're $40 trillion in debt. That's the part that bothers me.
Okay. So that brings up the next part of the discussion is, should Elon be on the hook for some of that? if you're building out a huge facility in South Louisiana, should part of the deal be you have to kick back a little for infrastructure?
Well, I won't argue with you. I think that's a great idea. But when you're building something that big, what normally happens is you don't have to kick in much because you're doing everything else. And that means the state and federal government kicks it in. I agree with you. Maybe they should, but I don't think that's what's going to happen.
So you said you got the governor on the 26th, huh?
Yeah, they called to be on here, and my Joe Cunningham, who you know, said, man, it got to be something happening with SpaceX between now and then. I said, man, I don't know. They didn't tell me what for. I'm going to find out as we get closer. Heck, that's next week.
I have him on the 28th.
But that's what I'm saying. And Joe got him on in the evening program, too. So
interesting.
There's something going on around there. They wouldn't be booking these stuff.
Ooh, I mean, yeah, because we're talking a good 2 weeks out. And you know how it is. I mean, the governor's busy. So booking the governor's a lot more fly by the seat of your pants. And that's in a good way, right? It's like, can we squeeze him in here? Can we squeeze him in there? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a big announcement coming around because they're booking around me and around you and everybody else.
All right. Looking forward to that. In the meanwhile, what else you got on the show today?
We got the Public Service Commission dealing with Meta. We've got, it's amazing. The media keeps bringing up New Orleans and Jeff Landry, and I think that thing is kind of settling down. They ought to let it go. Stephanie Grace wrote a piece. I don't understand why he's keeping that going.
Me neither. And I had the governor on about a week or so ago, and he was like, it's right now it's not his place to talk because this is about the investigation. This is about Liz Murrell's investigation. Like, it's not his place to say anything right now, but it's like from day one, the governor has emotionally invested and physically invested in New Orleans. You know what? Tough love is still love. So
by the way, I think it's been a lot of good investment.
Yeah. Oh, no, same.
Tough love. This thing is between him and and this is between him and the government of New Orleans, not the people.
Yeah.
Not the people. I don't think it's nothing to do with the people.
Same. In fact, we might have to revisit that when we come back. You got a show to get to. Always appreciate the time, brother. We'll see you soon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, brother.
Thanks. My bad. I was not looking at the clock. We ran long right there. Let's check our local news, traffic, weather. We'll continue next on Talk 107.3.
I went to the restroom, but when I came back, I'm like, you're in that Elon Musk.
No, I know, but excuse me. All right. So that's Moon kind of teed me up. By the way, governor's going on with Moon on the 26th, going on with me on the 28th. on the 27th. I already know what's. Oh, maybe I shouldn't talk because we're on Facebook. 836 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, appreciate Moon coming on. I always do. It's a great conversation, kind of teeing up his show. But he teed up something in there when we were talking about the ongoing spat between the governor and New Orleans. I had the governor on the show a week ago. It was 1 week ago. Had him on. In fact, we bumped Moon to have him on. And but we talked about that, and it's a good 5 minutes worth of conversation that I don't mind playing back for you, the entirety of it, because number one, context is important, and number two, I don't want to like chop him up into pieces, because it's better played if you play it the whole way through. So give me 60 seconds to tell you about Guarantee Health Solutions, and then we'll get into it. Guarantee Health Solutions, by the way, a national healthcare growth and experience transformation company that's based right here in Baton Rouge. Guarantee Health Solutions, don't look at them as a consulting firm you hire. Look at them more as in bringing in a C-level suite employee. Somewhere between having, where does your COO, your CFO, and your CMO all come together? Well, add to that a chief hospitality officer as well. That's what they do over Guarantee Health Solutions. They partner with you to make sure partner with you and your executive team before you make your first hire in the medical world. You align strategy, you align operations, you align marketing, you align patient and team experience to make it all one model. They've got it built out for you at guaranteehealth.com. Guarantee Health Solutions, bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. So Moon, I'm redirecting where we're going this segment, but Moon teed it up right there when we were talking about that back and forth between Governor Landry and New Orleans. And to give the backstory on this, it started when this all started when Attorney General Liz Murrill sent a very innocuous email to a number of folks in New Orleans saying, if you're not going to follow what the legislature passed during the session, you're going to be out of step with law. If you're out of step with law, sometimes there's legal repercussions. Well, they put together a multi-count indictment that said that she was intimidating them. And then it all just grew from there. And then once it all grew and it got out of hand, then New Orleans backed off and said, oh, no, we're dropping the charges. Why are y'all making such a big deal out of this? Don't be so aggressive, blah, blah, blah. It's like they started it and then ran away from it and then blamed the governor and the attorney general when they kept their foot on the gas. And to her credit, Attorney General Liz Murrill is keeping her foot on the gas to find out if there was anything improper done on the back end to spark the grand jury to, that which came around to the indictment. So somewhere along the way, New Orleans' mayor, Helena Moreno, decided, I'm done with the whole thing. I'm moving on. Well, as soon as she did that, former mayor of New Orleans, Mitch Landrieu, chimes in and says something on social media back to the governor. And by the way, the governor's original comments about this before it all got out of hand were New Orleans thinks they still have the weight that they used to, and they don't. And somehow that got misinterpreted as to being New Orleans is worthless, which it's not. And no one ever said it was. But a 650,000 person city and a 320,000 person city are not the same. You're not punching in the same weight class. So what you were in 1964 and what you are in 2026, you're still valuable and we still love you and you still have all the potential in the world, but you are not what you used to be. And it's going to take a lot of work to get you back where you were. So somehow all that turned into the governor versus New Orleans. So I asked him, and this was a week ago, so it was about the time that Helena Moreno stepped aside and Mitch Landrieu stepped in. In fact, no more setup. Let me just, because I think it starts with me and a question about New Orleans. Give it time. It's about 5 minutes worth of a 15-minute conversation. So here you go. For New Orleans, because this has been, and I believe this is another media-driven battle as well, but you and the mayor of New Orleans have had some back and forth online. You and a former mayor of New Orleans have had some back and forth online. What's the latest on that front? And can you give us a more, rather than just the social media version, your take on what's been going on between the two?
Well, let me try to color between the lines here, right? Here's what I think the top line is. Here's what I think the highlighted issue is with New Orleans. The state of Louisiana has always recognized that it has an obligation to New Orleans because it's kind of like it was at one time the largest city in the state. It's unique. It was an economic engine at one time. It kind of drove things for the state. The sad part is that the city seems to forget that it has an obligation to the state as well, right? In other words, this is a reciprocal relationship. It's a partnership. It requires cooperation on both sides. And many people, as I travel around the state, believe that for a long time, that the relationship has been one-sided. It's been the state gives and New Orleans just takes. And I think that has come to a breaking point. I think that the indictment in New Orleans, I think that the patronage system that has basically continued on for over 100-something years. People in Louisiana say, listen, we broke our patronage system everywhere else in Louisiana except the city of New Orleans. We want the city of New Orleans to function like the rest of the state, efficient, transparent, and to be a true partner. And so that's where we are. So when New Orleans recognizes that, hey, it has an obligation to the state as well, then I think we'll have a much better relationship.
How is the relationship, though? I mean, have you spoke with Mayor Moreno since all the back and forth?
I have not spoken to any of the city leadership since the indictment. I don't think it's prudent that I do. There are investigations underway. I want to get to the bottom of it. Mm-hmm. I think that once we know exactly what happened, you got to remember something. Everybody seems to gloss over the fact that a group of people in New Orleans weaponized Louisiana's criminal justice system. I mean, they weaponized it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want them to do that to Brian Haldane, or to anybody listening out there. You know what I mean? And so they did it to a sitting attorney general who was basically giving that city advice. I know a little bit something about giving municipalities advice as the attorney general. I sat in the same seat that Liz sits in. She did nothing out of the ordinary. And for that, she was indicted. They wanted to send her to prison for 80 years. They had a bond. The bond under the attorney general was greater than the bond that many people who commit heinous crimes, very violent crimes in New Orleans have. Like, think about that. That's the distortion in the criminal justice system in New Orleans versus the rest of the state. That doesn't happen anywhere else. And so we want to get to the bottom of it. If that city leadership had nothing to do with it, great. That would make me feel so much better. Okay, and we can move on. Right. If they did, we got a problem.
All that being said, and I'm going to keep you for one more question. All that being said, New Orleans still has the potential to be an amazing worldwide city. It is still a worldwide city, but to be an amazing economic driver, it still has all that potential in the world. What are your next steps to help, rebuild fences, or is this completely in their court?
Look, what more can the people of the state of Louisiana do? I mean, the president of the United States has leaned in. I mean, I've done more as a governor for the city of New Orleans than any other governor in the past. And we went back and looked. I mean, crime is at an all-time low. You think that was because of the consul?
No.
No.
Troop Nola.
I mean, that was work that we did. We're not giving up on that. We're not giving up on the criminal. In fact, all of the issues that are being presented right now in the city of New Orleans are done to improve the criminal justice system and to make New Orleans safer.
That was Governor Jeff Landry a week ago on this show. And there's a lot of what he talked about there that I think holds up. You could debate all day long about whether or not, patronage is still a thing throughout the state. I don't know of any government out there that doesn't have some level of, I don't want to say patronage, but perceived patronage. Because, take the governor's office, for example. As long as the governor is able to appoint people to positions, there's going to be a perception of a quid pro quo. Maybe not necessarily something unethical or illegal, but there's going to be a perception of quote unquote patronage in the purest form of the definition. Support begets support. Okay, no matter where you go, you can't escape that. As long as you have the power of appointment to something, that's going to follow you around. Now, what he's talking about runs a little bit deeper within New Orleans for sure, but that in and of itself, it's inescapable. That's never going to go away. Now, as far as my follow-up question about what are you doing to mend fences, I still believe that he should. Once the investigation is over with, you put it all to bed. You put the whole thing to bed and move forward from there. Because, like it or not, New Orleans is the catalyst, or should be the catalyst for Louisiana to be on a global scale. Now, we're seeing, economic development announcements around the state and whatnot, and they're all great. They are. But having a driver like a world-renowned city be even bigger than that, it gives us the potential to be bigger than that. We can go a lot further when we have them on board than when we don't. So it's just it's also worth rewinding the clock to remember that Helena Moreno didn't start this that we know of. This was started by numerous others who received that letter from Liz Murrell. So she's in there trying to clean up a lot, and there's a lot being added on while she's cleaning up. So I would go so far as to say, let's give her a little grace when it comes time to mend fences, because this is a long-standing, and again, it's perception as well, but it's a long-standing back and forth of New Orleans versus the state when it shouldn't be New Orleans versus the state. You talk about how New Orleans is, we have all the tourism in the world. Yeah, you do. A lot of that's convention business that goes into the Morel Convention Center that was built by the state. A lot of that is people coming to see the Saints play, or any opportunity to go to the Dome for the Super Bowl, for the Sugar Bowl, college football playoff, whatever. The Superdome was built by the state. 8 to 10 people a game go to see the Pelicans. The Smoothie King Center was built by the state. So it's just, we're a lot stronger together, and we need to be. Want to remind you one more time about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. Talk about wanting to send you to New Orleans. How about keeping you right here in Baton Rouge? How about flying out of your own backyard? How about when you make a travel reservation and you get back home, you're home? How about when you book your travel plans, you take into account the full experience? And I'm talking about everything from parking to TSA, you name it. FlyBTR.com. You hop on the website. You look at what's possible as far as the trips are concerned. They've got BTR on that first line. You plug in where you're going to the next line. You give them your departure date and your return date, and they put the options in front of you. Do it at flybtr.com. Whether you're talking about traveling to go see the Tigers play this season, whether you're talking about that daily flight that heads to Reagan National in our nation's capital, comes back home same day, whatever it is you're talking about, take into account the whole experience and supporting a local business at flybtr.com. We've got to check your money now. After we check your money now, we're going to come back, close it out. Obviously, we're not getting out of here without talking about Skip Burtman. That'll be next. I'm gonna talk with Michelle before I talk with LRN. It shouldn't tick me off, but it does. Well, I guess I don't know. It just happens so frequently, and I don't think Palermo is very like. When it happens, I don't think he even knows about it.
I was going to say, do you think he's being malicious?
No, I love Jeff. I think like this morning's story with the package, the wrap was done by Case Kieschnick. So Palermo walks in to do the news and he's like, oh, Case got this audio, but like nowhere is it mentioned. And the thing is, I know that like, okay, if it's not mentioned here, it sure as shit not being mentioned around the state. Especially when like WWL doesn't even give attribution to LRN. They WWL and their local news makes it sound like LRN is part of their news team. So but like again, I don't want to bite Jeff's head off. Jeff's a friend. But like this coming segment will be the third time I give a shout out to LRN for their audio in this show, in this one show. Also, I got makeup lives because I missed a lot on. Well, I had rollover, so I had Dr. Strain on Thursday, so I missed 2 on Thursday. They rolled over to Friday, and I ended Friday 3 in the hole. So I've got to make up one more 180 Pros. And one more Mathurns. Mathurns are going to wait till tomorrow. I'll knock out 180 Pros here. $8:53, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Let me remind you one more time about 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website if you want to check them out. Learn more about, we say every day that you're not your IT provider. They're your IT partner. And there's a lot of depth and meaning to that quick little tagline. A lot of it has to do with their level of investment in your business to keep things running and to eliminate, not eliminate, but because you can never fully eliminate, but minimize as much as you can, minimize downtime. If something's wrong, they're on it. You call them, they have same day response time to be sure. But there's more to the partnership than you would first think. And some of that is on the collaborative end. For example, do you have an entire IT team to work on not just your tech, not just your network, but on your social? What kind of hardware and software do you need on the social networking end to build your business from a marketing standpoint? 180 Pros is happy to collaborate with you to talk about everything from cameras to microphones to lighting, you name it. And then, once you get into the software and products you're using on the inside of the computer as well, they've got you covered. Give them a call. Talk to them. Explore the space. 330-2200, 330-2200 for 180 for 180 Pros, 180pros.com. Man, you heard the story from Louisiana Radio Network and what a bang-up job they did talking about former LSU coach Skip Burtman, just kind of grabbing audio from a number of different places to talk about his legacy and whatnot. I want to lean on them a little bit if we could right here. The LRN talk with Ryan Terrio, who is on with Matt Moscona every Friday on 104.5 ESPN on Off the Bench. I'm sorry, on After Further Review. Terrio, who won a College World Series title in 2000 under Skip Burtman, He says that the work that Bertman did in building the LSU baseball program basically from nothing rubbed off on the entire Baton Rouge community. Cut 4.
There's business leaders in this community that have learned from that. There's politicians. I mean, the list goes on. And so this is far deeper and far bigger than baseball for us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about it in terms of just the whole hold the rope philosophy. It runs deep. And yeah, when you have a leader like that in a community, it's not just the people that played for him. It's just by being around him, you were able to absorb a little more. Terrio says Bertman's influence on him was far beyond the baseball field, including his 8-year major league career that included 2 World Series titles on the big league level.
Trust in your family members, trust in a greater power is one thing that I've taken away from him for sure. Not making everything about yourself, making it about the team and or your family or your business or whatever it is that you're running.
Moving over to Dan Canaveri, who used to be on Bertman's staff, talking about the influence that Bertman was on so many people, whether they were players or not. Cut 6, please.
He could have been anything in the world besides a baseball coach at the top 1% of the population because he was immense. The most brilliant mind I've ever known.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And it didn't take the biggest interaction for there to be some level of influence. This is so small and so stupid and so insignificant. But when Coach Canaveri and Coach Bertman were hosting the Hold the Rope podcast, they would get, when they got sponsorships for their show, they'd come in and record spots. And I would fight for the opportunity to be the producer on that end, right? Like, come on, it's FaceTime with Skip Bertman. You're going to hear something. You're going to hear a nugget somewhere along the way. Well, so the first run that they did recording their spots, I did my quote unquote magic as the producer, cleaning them up, getting them down to a 30-second spot and whatnot, making them sound beautiful, making them sound professional. Not saying they had a lot of mistakes on the back end, but it was tight. The spots were tight. So when I played back the commercials for them, Canaveri was like, "Oh, it's magic," and Bertman was like, "Oh, he's the magic man." So the next time they come back in, which was 2-3 months later, he's like, "Oh, got the magic man on the board again." So it's little things like that, you remember him because he remembered you, that sort of thing, that kind of guy on every level. Oh, by the way, back to Canaveri one more time. Coach Canaveri played for Bertman over at Miami when he was their pitching coach. Coach Cano says Bertman was much more than just a coach. He was a full-on mentor. Cut 7.
He tried to learn every player, what made him tick, figure out what buttons to push, and then influence his life and make him a better human being, a better son, a better father, a better brother, a better worker.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, from start to finish. The play on the field is great. And as Tiger fans, we love our national championships. And we love going to Omaha and buying Jell-O shots. And we like success on the field at any level. Any sport, really. But when you carry that over to the rest of your life, when you carry that over to the lessons you learn on the field, carry over for the rest of your life, that's where you're making an impact. That's where you're making a difference. That's where you're changing not just lives, but generations. I mean, you go back to Terrio. You think of the number of things that Ryan Terrio is teaching his kids because Skip Bertman taught him. And just that level of influence, that peak at greatness, P-E-E-K, by the way, not P-E-A-K. That sneak peek at greatness. You do what you can to carry it over. And he will be immortalized because of it. Once again, services will be August 25th in the PMAC. The public session for that doors open at 6, services at 7. Friends and family are going to get together back at 4:30. All right, we're just about done for today. Putting together tomorrow's show. Ooh, we're coming up on the anniversary of Smitty's Supply, of that explosion. We'll dive into that tomorrow. We'll have Congressman Troy Carter bringing it all your way tomorrow from 6 till 9. Not bad. That was not a bad fill. That could have been better. All right. I don't know if we have a Monday meeting today. I feel like we do, but I feel like it was also last week. So I'm going to bounce anyway just to make sure I'm ready for my meeting. We'll see y'all later.